Eric.
Yes. Hello.
So I don't know why I have black screen at the end of that, but I probably shouldn't. At the end of that intro, I'll have to fix that.
I was waiting. Everybody was like on the edge of their seats. They were like, and nothing.
Right? You want to catch us up on comments, and we're sitting in our 737-800 at Las Vegas. So if I pan up here a little bit, you can see the Luxor and the Mandalay Bay, and there's MGM with the TV doing something, and so we're sitting at gate C4 because why not? So yeah, you want to catch up on the chat?
Yeah. All right, let's catch up with chat. But first, you're flying to where?
We are doing Las Vegas to Los Angeles with a detour over the restricted airspace of Disneyland.
Now,
why not?
Will this be real weather, or are we flying through the mother of all thunderstorms?
Nope, this is real weather. Oh, you know what I did want to do, and I will do that real quick, is I wanted to change the time so we fly at let me see if I can remember where that was.
You do that. I'll catch up on chat.
Yeah.
D. Harris says, good evening, Todd. D, it was the first one on. Mac, good evening, everybody, from Max Mods. Evening, Mac. I said hi. Let's see. Go to Buck. Buck says, first on HTM YouTube. Maybe. Maybe. Jerry's still out. Buck says, hey, D and Mac. Mac says, hey, Buck. Mac says, no problem. Looking forward to it. Catching everybody up. Saying doing final checks now. That's what I was telling him. Buck, Eric, get out and push. Todd's having airplane issues.
I was having audio issues because I tried to share. Because yeah, this works best if I just share the desktop straight to StreamYards versus trying to go through OBS. And this computer is wired and a ridiculously powerful machine.
We had so many issues with OBS.
So this is going through, and I tried to share the desktop audio through StreamYards, and it complained because I wanted to wear a headset so we didn't have echoing. And so now I'm having to use Voice Meter Banana, which is a great little mixer to get all the audios in the same place.
And it works. It's quite a workaround, that duct tape and baling twine, but we got it to work. Mark says, just like any other day at an airport. Yeah, that's actually very true, Mark. Yep, but Todd's baggage is his co-pilot. Oh,
yeah, I'll be by myself.
Mark says, if I looked down from an aircraft and saw Eric, I would be worried. LOL.
If I could get the inflatable co-pilot from Airplane and put Eric's face on it, that's what I
would. Yes, that would be awesome. Buck says, I would too, in a Final Destination kind of way. That was a good movie, by the way. I really
that might happen today, so we'll see.
I'll be your co-pilot. All right. Buck says, is everyone's life insurance paid up? Could be. And in lieu of the airport or the airplane movie, I said the pilot has a drinking problem, so there might be a slight delay.
Correct.
Buck, can you fly, Bobby? C. Bodicker.
Bodicker. Yeah.
Audio issues. What? I can't hear you. Shut up. Horlick says, hi, all. Glad you could make it, Horlicks.
Hi, Alex. Hi, D.
Buck saying howdy. Max saying evening, Horlicks.
And hi, Mark. Hi, Buck.
Buck says make airplane go. Wait,
we'll try.
I need a parachute? No,
definitely.
Buck. No, Buck. No. D, good evening to you both at Mark's Mods and Horlicks. Everybody's saying good evening to each other and howdy. I hope this is not the 737 MAX. If so, we are doomed.
It is not. This is the 737-800 next gen.
There we go. Buck says, sweetheart. I think he's Buck's in a loving mood.
Yeah.
Oh, and D's accepting it. D says, hi, honey. Wow.
Hi, darling D.
Oh, my goodness. The D's cheating on me with Buck.
Yep. Yeah. Soon he won't need his wife. He's got us.
He goes, yes, echo. No, there is no echo. I hear zero echo, Buck. Zero. Mark says anticlimax there. I think he's talking about the intro. It might have been. It might have been Mac. There was quite a bit of black at the end of there. Horlicks, you have a great pilot voice, Todd.
Thank you for flying Southwest. We heart you.
Buck says, damn, echo was my issue. Yeah, you think, Buck? D says, hey, evening, Eric. Evening, D. Horlicks says, hi, Eric. Hi, Mark. Hi, D. Hey, Horlicks. Or is it Alex? See, I can't remember real names.
Horlicks is Alex Baumgartner.
Oh, I'll stick with Alex. Okay. Buckman, replace the OBS. Otherwise, ground the plane.
Yes, the OBS is on the MEL list today. It is on the MEL. It is not operating.
Exactly. Horlick says, I'm good. Thank you. Peter from Oz Scale Modeling from Australia says,
hey,
hello,
Peter.
all. Hey, Pete. Hi there, Mark. Buck says, Eric always sounds like he's interviewing someone. I do? How do I sound like that? Do I sound
I
like
think it's because you end most of your sentences on an up note, like you're asking a question. That's all right. You'll be a great moderator today.
Really? Alex says either or works. Gordon from Hobby Time. How's it going, Gordon? Welcome aboard.
Hi, Gordon.
Right now, let's see. Whoops, I was just about ready to start that one. We got one in from Horlicks. Horlicks is my YouTube name. Alex is fine, just not Alexander. That's my name, but hate it. There is the model hobbyist, or I think that's his name. And he
Don't call him Tom.
Oh my God, his name's Thomas. I called him Tom, and I thought the internet was going to explode. So
yes, and you know what's funny? When I told my girlfriend, and I told him Alex's screen name, she's like, Horlicks? Like, licks a whore? And I'm like whatever.
Right.
Oh Flying to Australia? I don't think this plane would make it to Australia. Not from Las Vegas.
No, not in one sitting. That's absolutely not. But it'd be a good attempt. Explain MEL, Todd, from Buck.
Okay, so first of all, there's a couple disclaimers. One, I am not a pilot. Do not use this for flying purposes, learning how to fly. I am not a 737 pilot. I just enjoy flying the 737. The MEL is the minimum equipment list. It explains what is broken on the plane and what the plane needs to have in order to be flyable. And OBS is not.
You've been through the checklist, because last time when we were testing it this week, you flew without main power.
Yeah, no, I printed out my checklist. It's all good.
All right.
And actually, this has the game has a checklist built in, and it highlights all the buttons and stuff. But I'm not going to follow that.
Mike's watching on both channels. We have hi Buck, hi Todd, hey Gordon, hi Eric. Mark Mon says Horlicks is a malt drink in the UK. Oh, no kidding.
Well, it has a wonderful name.
It's because Buck says can't fly to Australia. Plane is right side up. Oh.
Yep, we'd have to land upside down, and that doesn't work well.
Oh God! Oh, you both of you are jumping on it. Poor Peter.
Yeah. I forgot the battery switch when we tested this, so that's the first thing you're supposed to do. Yeah.
Yes.
The plane didn't operate very well.
Through the worst storm that the game could possibly without main power.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It was excellent.
I
had to use the shortcut. Anyway, so this particular gate, the jetway does not work. Probably did something with the airport file. If I had moved over one gate, that jetway might have worked. So we're gonna pretend there's some stairs here. I can actually bring up the stair train, the little stair car, if I wanted to, but we're just gonna go inside. So we'll switch to the interior view. So this is our little cockpit. We can look around real quick. You know, there's the forward overhead and the aft overhead, and pilot seat and co-pilot seat, or first officer, and the door.
Why are the seats shag carpet?
They are actually wool covered, and it makes them very comfortable. When I had my home cockpit simulator, I actually had a real 737 seat, and it looked just like that. J-rails on the bottom and everything. And it's super comfortable to sit in for a very long time.
Really? So, wow.
Yeah. Yep. So then we'll get into the pilot seat to have a look around. This down here is the tiller wheel. This is what you steer when you're on the ground. This can turn the nose wheel much farther than the rudder pedals can. So when you're taxiing the plane, the captain would use the tiller wheel. There's not one on the other side. Interestingly enough, we'll move this out of the way. Here, click on this, and it'll scoot down. The real plane doesn't do that. That's just a flight sim thing. There would be a wheel over here on other planes to let the first officer do it, but the 737 doesn't. I think the MAX might have a wheel there.
You need to add like a character of some sort as a co-pilot. I need to be in here.
Yeah, I think there's probably mods for it to have somebody sitting there, but
sorted. Right, next stream I'm in.
But I like to go cold and dark. So cold and dark means the plane is completely shut down, not running, no power, no nothing. And the jetway would be connected, or I would have had to fly into the cockpit. So the ground power is connected. I will show you that. Here, we'll just jump around to the other side of the plane. If you look down here at the nose, let me get it. There's the ground power. Oh, there's a building in the way. Here's the ground power connection. So the people on the ground, the air conditioner is connected. This would normally come from the jetway, but this is an AC cart that's putting air into the plane, so when people load, it's fine. And this is
that's an air. Okay, I was actually going to ask you if that was like a fuel line or something. That was.
No, hey, look at outside. Look, there's me, and there's you.
Hey, I'm there. Hey.
Yeah. So this is ground power. Yeah, so you'll see this gets hooked up. If you ever watch, you're sitting at the airport and you watch this plane taxi into the gate, you'll see the first thing this guy does will hook up ground power because they don't want to turn the engines off. You lose power, or the APU that's in the tail, which I'll explain here in a second. But yeah, this is this yellow hose is air conditioning, and it normally comes from this box is on a cart, but this air conditioner box is usually mounted to the bottom of the jetway. Let me see if I can spin around to the jetway and. See, there's a yellow hose on the jetway.
When you land, does it show fueling?
I can request a fuel truck if you'd like.
No, I was just wondering.
But you can. The game lets you request like catering and baggage carts and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to do that because it takes a while to do all the animations and play with all that stuff. And you can open all the doors and you can have a little guy and it shows up in his little catering cart. The little cart goes up and he loads carts in, and I don't need all that. But you do a quick walk around, make sure the wheels are good, and all your control surfaces are clear, and there's no holes in the plane. The engines are clear, and we're just going to pretend all that's been done. We want to fly. So we'll go back inside.
Let me catch up on chat real quick.
Yep.
Why don't my lights work? That's when we were talking about power from Buck. Horlick says there is a story about it. An old boyfriend decided to call me and it stuck. Oh, yeah. Well, that's kind of how I got stuck with Rascal there, Alex. My grandfather always saw me getting into shit as a kid. So he called me the little rascal, and then it just stuck. Gordon says, Horlick, similar to Ovaltine. I've had Ovaltine. It wasn't all that great. Mark says, Alex, I think it's a great name. Alexander just seems like, prestigious, right? Alex is like your best friend down the street that you only invite once in a while, right? Alexander's the one that's like captain of the chess team. Buck is waving. That's when we had the the outside picture of both of us, even though we disappear when we get into the cockpit.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
That's because this cockpit is so polygon heavy. It's so well modeled that having people in here is just ridiculous. So.
Oh, geez, I can imagine. Mark says, since when did a fuel line go into a cockpit? I don't know. Dude, I was in the Army. Okay, I wasn't in the Air Force. Army, we don't, whatever. I at least know where the nose of the plane is. I suppose that's a good thing. Buck says, first thing they do is chalk the plane, as opposed to the electrical, I believe.
Well, what's interesting about that, real quick, is to chalk this plane, they have to go behind the engines. They will not do that while these engines are running. So what will happen is, because it's right behind the engine outlets, So they won't chock this plane. They'll stand on the parking brakes until the engines are down below 20%. So they'll shut the engines down. Usually the APU, I'll show you the APU. So here's the APU exhaust. There's a little baby turbine and generator and air pump on the little turbine back here. That's the auxiliary power unit. Usually, typically what will happen is as soon as the plane lands and pulls off the runway, they will start the APU. We will start the APU too to take off, but they'll start the APU to provide power. So as soon as they come to a stop, they'll kill the engines. Everybody hears that when they park. They kill the engines, hit the bell for the seats, so everybody gets up. And when these engines spin down to 20%, they will turn the beacons off, or these rotating red beacons on the top and bottom of the plane with the anti-collision lights. The pilot will turn that off. When that light goes off, it tells the ground crew that they are clear to approach the plane. Because if you look here, see this red line? That's don't go in this. Because if the engines are running, they will suck you in. It's the same reason that on most planes, and we'll see if I can get a shot of it, this red line, that's a don't go in front of that line when this engine is running. Okay. There's one on the nose gear as well. There's a white line right there. But, so they'll turn the red lights off. That'll tell them to approach the plane. Then they'll chock it. And once they're chocked, then they'll release the brakes.
Now, that red semicircle in front of the engines, you said, anybody in that's going to get sucked in. Is that even at the 20%?
If the engines are running, you don't want to stand here. At idle, they're still, even at idle, they're producing enough suction to,
okay.
pull somebody into it. Right. You don't want to go into a blender. So, yeah. The red these anti-collision lights, the red beacon top and bottom says you turn them on as soon as the plane has hydraulic pressure, because hydraulic pressure means that any one of these control surfaces could move and hit somebody. So your ailerons, your flaps, the elevators, you turn that on to say, hey, I have hydraulic pressure, do not approach the plane, or it means you're about to engine start. So we'll go through that. Carry on.
Gordon says, don't forget to kick the tires too.
Absolutely. Hey, some people do.
No, and Alex, it's interesting that parents, being a parent myself, we use full names, not just full names. Oh no, you're in trouble when the middle name comes out too. That's when like you're in deep kimchi, right? So Buck says, what about the nose gear? As for chock?
They can chock the nose gear, but as the engines are running, the plane will drive over chocks in a heartbeat. I could drive over chock. If the engines are running and you powered them up for an accident, you hit the throttle or something, you'll drive right over chocks. The chocks are just to hold a static plane.
D says at Horlick, same here. Mine's David. Laughing at me. Of course, everybody does. No one calls me by that, not even the missus.
Well, that's a sweetheart name. So now it's Honey David, Sweetheart David, Darling David.
Oh, David's in there. He just like totally boned himself on the live stream. So we'll remember that, David. Buck says these days everyone calls D Sweetheart. Well, not anymore. Mark says going into an engine reminds me of Die Hard 2. Did that happen in Die Hard 2? Did somebody get sucked into an engine in that? He was at an airport, right?
I know he used his jacket to jam the ailerons. Somebody going to the engine? Oh no, yeah, he kicked that guy off. Remember when they had the fight on the wing? I can tell you that much. If he went into the engine, that plane's not taking off. It's all done.
No, that yeah.
Well, I guess you could take a 737 off on 3 engines, but you wouldn't want to. That's a 747, sorry, that they were flying.
He says, Buck, I could be getting called something worse. Oh, anybody. But, David works. One of the red lines on the side also shows where the turbine is. This is Buck. If the engine comes apart, that's where the blades come out. So, right at the bottom, is that where it is?
Well, right this is the no suction zone.
Okay.
And the N1 rotor is a little in front of that. That's the fan in front.
Yep.
That's the N1 rotor, and then there's an N2 rotor inside the hot part.
Just Buck says I've seen an F-16 standing on the chocks during an engine run.
If they weren't on the brakes, I'd be very surprised. They weren't standing on the brakes too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the brakes will hold it even at full throttle, but chocks, these little chocks.
Hey, David, sweetheart, come on, David, sweetheart, come on, David, sweetheart, I like that. I think we are saying too much at the round, Eric. Just a feeling. Yeah. Oh, this is like food. This is fodder, man. This is cannon fodder for live streams. I love it. Die Hard 2 fight was on the wing, pulled fuel dump lever. D said that. Okay, yeah, I vaguely remember that. It's been years since I've seen those. Buck, D, just call Eric Tinker Bubbly.
Tinker Bubbles.
Dave from DS Models and Vintage.
Hi, Dave.
What's up, Todd and Eric?
Just skip all the highs. We'll never get off the ground.
Hey, relax. Hey, a lot of people love this, right?
I like to say hi to everybody.
Good. They say good evening. Mark, hiya at Dave. Dave, hiya, Buck Mark. And almost sound like Bookmark. Hiya, Bookmark. Buckman, for AB, there is a tie-down tool to keep the plane from leaving.
I believe that. And another little thing that you might see at an airport, on especially the 737-800 and the 900, is back here. There's a little tail skid right here. This is the tail skid.
Yep.
That you're. If you hit this on the ground, you didn't fly very well. This is so when you take off or land that you don't hit this thing. But a lot of times you'll see a stand sitting here, a pole, especially if the plane's just parked. And the pole, you'll see it a lot in airports. There'll be just a stand here, like a metal pole that sits up here and sits on this puck. That is to keep the plane from tipping backwards. Because if they load, when they unload the plane, people get off from the front of the plane, right? And so the weight keeps transferring back. Well, if you look at the pivot point of the landing gear, and if the whole back end of the plane is full of people, the plane will tip back and sit on its haunches, and it would fall back. So a lot of times you'll see a pole right here that'll hold the back of the plane up as it's unloading to keep the plane from tipping back on its tail.
Now the luggage goes underneath, correct? But is it displaced in the center, or is it center back?
There's a cargo door here, and a cargo door here.
Okay. So they do front and back. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I can open those and call the luggage loaders if we wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. But I agree with Buck. We're never going to get off the ground. I like talking to everybody, though. Okay, so the first thing the pilot would do after the walk around and making sure he's got all his papers and everything like that is you would turn on the battery switch. Instead of looking up here, I will go to the view of the overhead. This is the main battery switch that I forgot to turn on last time. This just brings the battery online and brings on the DC circuits. So we'll do that. And it lights up, lots of things. Excuse me. And then the very next thing you would do is you'll get a battery discharge because the batteries will, now they're not really meant to run the whole plane. And they only provide the DC side of the power. There is a rectifier that'll say, so if I switch, I can't really zoom in on this, but you can see the battery is 24 volts, but I'm pulling 37 amps off of it, so it'll eventually die. So the first thing we do is we would turn on that ground power. So that cable's connected, so I can turn on ground power. It's going to get noisy. So those fans are going to come on. Now we're on full AC power. Once we're on AC power, we can actually start setting up the plane. So the displays are going to come alive in a second. All these display units will take a little while to warm up. In the meantime, while we're doing this, go ahead.
You can't start anything unless you're on AC power, correct?
Well, you can actually start the APU with the battery. Like if you were stuck someplace and did not have ground power, you could start the APU. The APU will provide AC/DC. So, but since we're on the ground, and most airports do not want you to use the APU until the last minute because it pollutes and it's noisy. So we would, since we have ground power, we would use that instead. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way up to the upper overhead, and we're going to turn on the IRSs. The IRSs are the the gyroscopes. There's 3 laser gyroscopes in a 737. So we're going to turn these on.
And we hate IRS. Don't do it.
Yep, we need the IRS because now they're going to go into an align mode. The plane cannot be moving during align mode. This typically takes anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes, depending on your latitude. But I have the plane set to go 30 seconds. It's just a setting inside the PMDG that'll let these quick align, or else we would sit here. Even though at the rate we're going, we would definitely have the 7 minutes of time. So now the displays are alive. We have the PFD, which is the primary flight display, the ND, which is the navigation display, and the upper ECAS, engine and control systems. Lower ECAS is down here. The FMC is your flight management computers. You have a pilot and co-pilot, and then his screens are duplicated on the other side. So these little flags on these displays, and I can get a little closer. Let me see which display I have set up for that. I have so many settings. I have all these displays set up. These little flags, like map, and these should all be, you should have no yellow when you go to take off. Nothing should be lit as in yellow. No yellows. So what it needs is it needs to know where we are. So we would typically go in here, and it wants the IRS position. So in the FMC, it wants the IRS position. So we have to tell it where it is. So we go to pause in it, and you can see the IRS position is boxes. In the FMC, anything boxes is required. We can pull these off the built-in GPS. So there's a GPS left and a GPS right. They typically are within a tenth of a point of each other, hopefully. And with the FMC, clear always, this is the scratch pad down here where we can type things in. So we're just going to take one of these, which copies it down here, go back to the previous page, and paste it right there. So now the IRSs know where we are. And when you do that, you'll notice that the navigation flags and a lot of things disappear because now the plane knows exactly where it is. All right. So, and we have instruments. If we go, let me see which this, there we go. That's the one I wanted. The PFD has airspeed. It has altitude. It has the ball, the attitude indicator, angle of attack. This is your set altitude, your set speeds. I won't go into too much detail. This is the track we're going to follow. This is us. We're the little triangle. Don't worry about anything down here. We're not going to do that. Let's see what else we got. This is the backup. This is called the ISFD, or it's the backup instruments. This is on its own power, its own battery, everything. If you were to lose all your main instruments, this would work. This didn't work on our flight because I never aligned IRS. I am going to turn some of the background lights on. These are all the dashboard lights. I'm going to bring all these up because I think by the time we get to Las Vegas or Los Angeles, the sun is going to be setting. So
nothing should be in yellow. Nothing should be in yellow.
Nope.
Because the TCAS says off, and it's in yellow. It's on the
that's TCAS. That's the traffic collision avoidance system. We will turn that on right when we enter the runway. We don't typically do that because
that's a last minute thing. Okay.
Yep. That's the transponder, and we will turn it on typically because the transponder and radar is in the nose of the plane, and you don't want to blast the ground personnel. You don't want to cook them, microwave them. You have some chat you want to do?
Yep. I just didn't want to interrupt your explanations there, but we can definitely hit chat right now. Buck says it's position based on weight to keep the balance of the plane relatively close to normal CG, which is center of gravity, and he was referring to the luggage, the storage underneath.
Yes.
He says, so 28 minutes before battery even gets turned on. This is going to be a long flight. LOL. Buck is referring to the IRS. The tax man is now turned on.
That's correct.
Alex says safety first D. LOL. Buck says the setup will be longer than the flight. That's normal, I guess. That's kind of normal for a game. Anyways, D says Alex haven't done safety brief yet. LOL. Alex laughs. Alex says no, it's really interesting. I guess with you doing the explanation. And last but not least, Buck says, wait, airspeed shows 45 sitting at the gate. Call the avionics guy to work on air data. Hey, yep, that's you.
And a 737, the lowest it'll go is 45, and that's on purpose because when you start rolling down the runway, when that gauge starts to move, you would call that airspeed alive, and that tells you that your pitot tubes are working.
And we are caught up.
Okay. All right. So typically at this point, we would call for fuel, and fuel is done through the FMC. We go to menu and we go to FS actions and we would ask for fuel, and this fuel is not right. I have my flight thing and we want 10,100 pounds for our flight. That's not what I wanted. 10,100 total fuel. There we go. And that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Okay. So that puts our fuel where we want it to be. We have a very full flight today. Excellent. Look at that. We're on Southwest. There is no first class. It's a randomized cargo. I asked for randomized cargo, so it looks like we're going to have a nice full plane.
Oh, wow.
Doors is only the left entry door is open. Once the fueling is complete, which, obviously the truck comes and fuels the plane. Once that's done, you can load passengers. So we'll just, at this point, we can pretend that that's done. And the passengers are done. So let's start setting up the flight. So you can put your reference airport. If your GPS is not working, you can get a approximate by putting in your reference and the gate number. We don't need to do that because it knows where we are. The route is asking us where we're starting and where we're finishing. This is, so we're starting at KLAS, which is Las Vegas. And just put that up there. And we're going to LAX. We'll put that up here. And
what's
then
the K
I can. What's that?
What's the K stand for? KLAS, KLAX.
Most airports in the U.S. use K. It just depends on which part of the country, the world you're in. Like over in Europe, it's a lot of C's and P's. So most people call it LAX, and there's usually a K in front of it. There's some weird names that don't always make sense. Like every time I fly to Hawaii. Kahului Airport on Maui is OGG, so you put in KOGG.
KOGG. Buck says pitot tube. Explain for the non-airplane guys.
Okay. A pitot tube it's hiding. Let me see if I can get close enough to the nose to see them. They are right here. There's one there, there's one there. The pitot tubes detect airspeed by a change in pressure, so they need to know the outside pressure. And they pull in the air pressure on the nose, will push into this tube, and it measures air data to say how fast the airspeed is. Because the plane needs to fly in a relative airspeed, right? If whatever airspeed is hitting this, if we were in a tailwind, right? If the wind was pushing us from behind, that's actually less air on this nose, and you need a certain amount of air over the wings, obviously, to fly. If you're in a headwind, and if the headwind was high enough, if the wind is pushing across the nose, you could actually take the plane off without moving. There's actually videos of that. There's videos of small planes flying that look like they're hovering in midair because the headwind speed is so high the plane can fly without any forward motion. It's all about airspeed. Below that, you can just kind of see them, and I don't think I can zoom any closer. This is an angle of attack. It's a wind vane on a rotating pivot. It's a little air vane. That's an angle of attack indicator, and there's one on this side as well. So that's
what Buck just said. He said, I see an AOA probe.
Yep, that's what this is. There's an AOA, angle of attack, and on the other side, there's one down here too.
Horlick says that's a failure point on air crash investigation. Very important component.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, airspeed is everything. A lot of times when planes fall out of the sky is because they've stalled. They've either, the nose up too high and they lose airspeed over the wings, causes stalls, or they turn too sharply, which causes stalls. I mean, it's pretty much either nose down and flying to the ground or they're stalling. So, all right, let's get back to the route. Fix next page. Okay, so I'm going to type my route in. I did this on purpose. I created my own custom route, and routes is a series of airways. We're going to fly to Frets first, and then we're going to fly to Joget. These are just airways that are just basically GPS points on the globe. They all have 5-letter names. And then we're going to fly right over. We're going to go right to Anaheim and fly right over. I don't know how tall we'll be. We'll see here in a second.
Disneyland.
And we're going to fly right over Disneyland, yep. And we're going to fly to down. And then we're going to fly to KLAX. And that's it. We click activate. So I have 4 waypoints on the way. We click execute. Once you click execute, you're going to get a path, this pink path. So this is, you're telling the navigation system where I'm going to fly. So it's basically saying from LAX, from Las Vegas, we're going to head this way at 21 on the compass to get to that first waypoint. Then we would go to performance in it, and it's going to ask us what our zero fuel weight is. This plane automatically configures zero fuel weight if you just the PMDG if you just double tap it, or you can get off of it. Reserves are going to be 5,000 pounds. Cost index, which is airline specific, I usually pick about an 18. And then it's going to say, it's going to suggest a flight altitude or flight level, 263, which is 26,300 feet. We're actually going to fly at 30,000 feet today, so 300. And then we execute that, makes a couple different changes. Now we have the active route. Don't worry about cruise wind. If we really want to put it in, let me look at my flight thing. It helps with fuel calculations. Is 282 at 063. That's 63.
Now, what's the average altitude? Is it 35,000 feet?
So if you're heading west, you're in evens. If you're heading east, you're in odds. Is pretty much how you look at it.
Okay.
And that's how they keep the 1,000 feet separation for planes. Everything eastbound is odds, everything westbound is in evens. So 30, 32, 34, 36, so on. And one limit is how you derate the engines. I don't like derating the engines. This is a safe fuel and maintenance on the plane. You can basically do the 26,000 is the thrust. So each engine does 26,000 pounds of thrust. You can derate to a 24 or a 22. A lot of times they'll derate just to save fuel and wear on the engine. But our engines don't wear out. So takeoff, typical takeoff is 5 degrees of flaps. Center of gravity will calculate automatically for us if we double tap that button. So 18.7% is our center of gravity, which means this is an important number, and I'm going to write that down. 5.72 degrees of trim, or units, 572. We can't put our takeoff speeds in here until we know which runway we're taking off from. And we have to get that from clearance. So we would have to talk to ATC. So let's do that. Let's do this. Let's pull up ATC. I'm gonna go ahead and just use the built-in ATC. I'm not gonna do VATSIM. It'll be a disaster. So we're gonna tune to ATIS.
Las Vegas Airport information, Mike 2200 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 1 tree. Dew point 10. Altimeter tree 0.09er. ILS runway 26 right and ILS runway 26 left in use. Landing and departing runway 26 right and runway 26 left. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advised.
Okay. So that's ATIS, which is the Automatic Traffic Information System, which gives us information about which runways they're using. You have to have ATIS. When you go ask for clearance, if you don't have ATIS, then you're borked. They will ask you, and it changes every hour, so there'll be Alpha, Bravo, Zulu. They'll change the key number, and you got to say, I have information in Bravo. If we turn that back on, it'll tell you which one they're at. We'll listen to it for a second.
Las Vegas Airport
information November. So when you would contact clearance, you would say, I have information November, and it tells you have the latest ATIS information. A couple things I got out of that, which I like, is I write down the temperature, the dew point, and most importantly is the altimeter. The altimeter currently is 3009, and if you look down on my displays here, we're currently at 2992, which is the default. So we would go to our, let me close this real quick. You would change the altimeter, and I'm going to rotate this knob, and 30, I can see it down the bottom left, 9. So 3009 down here. So we want to set this to be 3009. The co-pilot or first officer would change his as well. I have mine too synced, so I don't have to worry about his. They would both match this, and you would call that out. All right, so we have the altimeter. I do like to set the trim. We're going to go down here to the trim wheels. I got to remember which.
Question: Is this co-op?
It is co-op in the fact that you can fly 2 planes in the same game. It is not It is not shared cockpit, if that's what you mean. If you could have a co-pilot, somebody else. Somebody's going to bring shared cockpit. I think it's going to happen. So you could have somebody sitting in this seat and doing the FO things. But I'm going to have to do them both. These are the trim wheels. So this is nose trim up and down. As long as this indicator right here is in the green, you're pretty much safe to take off. I'm going to set it to the 5.72 that we wrote down from the, you can see it right up here on the FMC 5.72. So we're just going to take our trim, and now I have this on my joystick, and I'm going to rotate my trim down to 5.72, or roughly about the little 6 indicator. Yeah, right about there. That's close enough. If it's in the green, you can pretty much take off. The 737 will take off and land pretty easily. So now we need to get, that trim is set. We need to get clearance. So let me see if I can get ATC
Buck says air data is key in flight controls.
Yep.
He used to work in flight controls for an F-16. That is pretty cool. Pirate Kenneth, afternoon and hello, everyone. How is everyone doing today? Hey, Kenneth. Buck says, Todd, are we there yet?
Las Vegas Airport information number 2200 Wind
D says, is this something you would play to Alex? Buck says, you don't have to do all this. You can just jump in and go. True, but... Buck, Eric needs to learn somehow. He is co-pilot after all, LOL, from D. Buck goes through a bunch of... Buck is in right form today. He better be in the same form tomorrow. Mike says, right, I am watching that movie tonight. Love it. I think they're referring to Airplane. Buck says, next time make Eric set his own gauges. It's not a shared cockpit. I would. That would be
I wish. I wish it was.
And we are caught up in chat.
All right, so what I am getting now is I'm looking on a different screen for the radios. I was hoping this after you tune, it should have an option to tune to departure, because I have this as a schedule, as a flight in here. So let me see if I can get, unless somebody finds it before I do, the departure frequency. Let's see, airport tracker. Let's open this up. If I can get clearance. Oh, hang on. ATIS, tower, ground control. Clearance delivery is 118.0. So we'll go back to the pedestal here. We're going to set our radio to 118.0. So this is our radio right here. So we're going to set the standby to 0. Normally, this flight sim would do this for you, but it's not giving us that up. So we're going to turn this to 18. See if we can pick up clearance and delivery. Boop. We'll go back here. And ATIS is not doing its thing. All right, well, it's not going to give us the thing. So we're not going to use ATC. Screw ATC. It'll yell at us anyway. At this point, we'll pretend, right? We will check our pre-flight checklist, which is checking oxygen, which is make sure your masks work. And if you want to see the mask down here, you push the test button, which is right here, and see if it makes any sound. Sorry, it's right here. I don't know if you can hear that. The eyeball opens up. That tells you your mask has got oxygen. You would also go up to the upper overhead and make sure crew oxygen actually has oxygen in it.
I better have oxygen.
Right? Then you would go to the upper overhead and you would check the transfer display switches, which is all of this, to make sure these are all set correctly. Make sure they're all normal, source normal. At this point, we can turn the window heat on. Window heat heats these front 4 windows. These windows are heated. That window, this window, and this window are all heated. Heated glass is softer, and it keeps it from frosting up. Heated glass will keep, a bird strike from maybe going through the window. So you typically keep the windows heated. The pressurization mode selector, which is here, is going to ask us what flight altitude we are going to. We're going to set this. This is pressurization. We're going to set this to 30,000 feet because that's where we're flying to. So this will pressurize the plane for us. And the landing altitude at Las Vegas or Los Angeles is 128 feet. So we're going to set our landing altitude roughly close. We'll set it to 150. It's good enough. Set to auto. That's good.
Wait a minute. Aren't we supposed to be dealing with exact numbers here? Like we don't not with
the pressurization. This only climbs in 50s and 100s. So with pressurization, if it's close enough, it's close. It's 50 feet is close. The emergency lights, you can see they're not armed. Typically before you load the passengers, you have to have the emergency lights turned on. So I'll close the guard, and that'll turn that switch on inside. Let's see what else. What's next? Flight instruments are set. We do need to set the parking brake. So we'll go down here and take a look at the throttle quadrant. The parking brake is right here. Just like the real plane, I'm going to have to get my rudder pedals, stand on the rudder pedals, and set the parking brake.
The pedals a bit stiff, are they?
Yeah, got to stand on the pedals, and then it won't let you start the parking brake unless you stand on the pedals. So the parking brake is set, and we check the engine start letters are in cutoff. These are the engine fuel levers. Throttle 1, throttle 2, engine 1, engine 2, fuel levers. All right. At this point, we would say, okay, it's time to close the door. So we'll go back here, and we will actually close the door, which is FS actions and doors, and close the door.
You close the door. I'll catch up on chat.
And if we look outside, it is closing the door. There you go. Oh, door's locked. Door's locked and closed. It's funny. Most people may not know this, but the flight attendants close this door and lock it. And then when you hear them say it's armed, it means there's a girt bar, which is what it's called. On the inside of this door is the slide, the big inflatable slide. And at the bottom of that, there's a girt bar. And that latches into 2 latches in the floor. So if that door would be reopened, that girt bar would pull the slide. At that point, they'll usually put an orange banner across this window to tell people outside the plane that the doors are armed. So every time you see armed doors, when you hear the flight attendant say that, that is them arming these slides on all doors. Obviously, the wing slide, the wing doors don't have it, but the back 2 aft doors and 2 front doors, you would arm both slides. And when they say cross-checked, it means they're looking across the plane to make sure both doors are set the same way. Little information for fun.
Nice. I didn't know that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So now that door is these doors are all closed and armed. If we go back inside the cockpit, if we look up to the upper overhead, we should see no door lights. These door lights are here. And none of them are lit, which is good. So this is now we can do our before start checklist. We're actually making progress. We check the flight deck door, make sure it's closed and locked. We look behind us and make sure the door is closed and locked. Passengers are all seated and they're doing their thing. We check fuel. We're at 10,100, which is what it's written on the flight. So fuel is, let me get to this. Fuel is right here. We have 5,000 pounds in this tank, 5,000 pounds. This is the left wing. Right wing, center tank, nothing in the center tank, 10,100 pounds, which is what we have set. Passenger signs are set to on. So we'll go to the aft overhead and the passenger signs, seatbelts. We'll just turn those on. So the seatbelt lights are on. The windows locked is what you would check here to make sure both these windows on the 737, you pull this lever and you can open this cockpit window. It's a escape point. Or, somebody leaves their phone in the terminal and they throw it up to the pilot. I've seen that.
Oh, my
God. Yeah. You would pull this lever. You got to make sure both these windows are closed and locked. You would slide them forward and latch this. Make sure the windows are closed and locked. And then you check your MCP. So the MCP is, let me find out which button I set for the MCP is 8.
How do you remember all this, Todd?
I don't know. I set all my number keys to all the different views I set. So you would set up, this is the autopilot panel. It's called the main MCP or main control panel. These are EFIS. I don't remember what EFIS stands for. But you would say, okay, we're going to cruise to 10,000. This is your cruise altitude. You normally set this to your departure altitude. ATC would say you're going to depart on this departure, or SID, a standard instrument departure, and they would say climb and maintain 10,000 feet. And they'd have you hold until you can climb up to your cruising altitude. Since ATC is not playing along today, we're just going to set this to our cruising altitude. So we'll rotate this all the way up to 30,000 feet to tell the plane what are we climbing to. All the way to 30,000, because it'll fly to this and hold whatever altitude you set that to. So that's set. The heading is, you want to typically match to the runway. Let's see, we're at gate C4, so we will take off to the west. We will say we're taking 26 right. So I'm just going to set this to about 20, let's see, 258 is the runway heading, 258. And we'll just stay on heading select. And then speed is based on the runway. So we need to go down to here and say we're going to take off on 26 left. So we go back to init ref. Nope, sorry. Menu. Init ref, index, and sorry, departures and arrivals. God, I haven't done this in such a long time. We're departing KALS, and we're going to take off on, we got to find the runway on the right here, 26 right, because it's closest to our gate. We'll just select that. And we will land on, let's see, KLAX. Let's find that, departures and arrivals at KLAX, and we will land on, what do you want, land on the left or the right?
Left.
We'll do 25 left. How's that sound? That's out heading towards the ocean. So we'll do. I'm actually gonna do right, so I don't tax across the other runway. And then we'll see the route, and we look through the route. Here's again one more time, KLAS to KLX, and you'll be able to see direct frets, and we have a what they call a discontinuity. There's a gap, a dead line here before we get to ILS. So what we want to do is we want to grab this line, take this, and move it up here, and execute. That way it's telling us how to get all the way to 25 right, and then the missed approach. You would check your, let me see if I can remember. You would check this. You would put this in plan mode. And if I remember plan mode, here's my plan mode, and you would step through your different lines to make sure you have a solid route, which I know we do, so I'm not going to mess with that. I'm not. There's so much to this. I don't want to get into all of it. Okay, so the MCP is set. We can arm the auto throttles. We can turn on the flight directors. My side first, and then LNAV and VNAV. We should be able to arm them both. Is it going to arm LNAV? Oh, come on! Doesn't want to arm LNAV. That's okay. LNAV is. We'll worry about that afterwards.
Nah, we don't need it.
Nah, it'll be fine. At this point, we have. Oh, I have to set up the takeoff speeds. Did I bump something? Okay, so takeoff speeds. Now that we know the runway, we can set our takeoff speeds. And the takeoff speed for us, we want V1 is 139. So V1 is our decision speed, where we have to decide if we're going to abort the takeoff or not. VR is rotation speed, where we pull back on the stick. V2 is basically the speed you have to achieve to do a one-engine takeoff. Most people will set the throttles to be V2 plus 20. So we'll go back up here, and we know that's 148, so I'm going to set this to 168. We should be able to do it. Come on. Oh, I don't know what's going on with that.
It wants to. It flickers, but
it's thinking about it.
Yeah. But
okay, so good enough. Let's see. CDU pre-flight. That's all been checked. That's all okay. Flight directors are on. Auto throttles on. Radar and aileron. Taxi and takeoff briefing. We're going to Los Angeles via Disneyland's TFR. A temporary flight restriction. You can't fly over Disneyland, but I'm going to do it anyway. And at this point, we would turn on the anti-collision lights. This is where we turn these on and say, okay, the anti-collision lights are now set, saying, hey, we're about to power up the plane. At this point, if we go outside, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it during the day, these will start strobing. Right? This is where you're telling people, hey, it's time to get away from the plane. This duct would not be here. We should start the APU. So let's go ahead and do that. APU is down here. We set it to on, and then hold down to start. And then we can watch. You're going to see a low pressure indicator and this temperature gauge. This temperature gauge is going to climb as it ignites the engine in the rear. If you want, I'll go outside. You may be able to hear it.
There it goes. Buck says, imagine the workload they had in the 70s without all these computers.
Oh, yeah. lots and lots of knobs. Typically, some of the most planes had big planes had a flight engineer. You had a third person.
Guys outside just ended their naps, Buck said.
Yeah. So now the APU is started. You'll see it if you actually watch it start, it'll go all the way up to the temperature. This is EGT on the turbine. It'll go all the way up back to 8, and it'll settle right back down to 4. Once this is ready to go and it's at its operating temperature, you'll see this is a gen off bus light. That means the generator of the APU gen is off the bus. We want to turn that on. This is going to turn the plane. If you're ever sitting in the back, if you're a passenger and you ever see the lights flicker, and the lights will flicker, that's them changing power sources.
Mark says, nice view of an aircraft, ass.
Yeah, that's the butt of an aircraft. At this point, you're on the generator, and the pilot, and I would show it to you, but the pilots will put their hands up to the window, and they will make it like they're breaking celery. They will put it up they'll show the ground cue, like they're breaking a stalk of celery. That tells them, hey, it's time to pull the ground power. And then they would come in here. We'll go back here to FS options. Since we're now on our own power, we'll go to ground services, and we will go ahead and release the air conditioning unit, and we release the ground power. And you might as well just remove the chocks since we won't need them. And at that point, if we go back outside, now the plane, this will animate and go away, this ground power unit, and the power cord is probably gone, and they close the door. So there's the door. Door's closed.
He says that Alex, I have a basic sim on my iPad called Flight Commander. No setup on the FMC. Start with a Cessna all the way to an A380.
Yep. Do we want to... There goes the hose. The hose is gone. I'm trying to show the little air conditioning truck. So the hose is gone, and he goes and drives away through a luggage cart, apparently. Off he goes. So now the plane is basically self-sufficient. We're not connected to anything on the ground anymore. Right, so that is all gone. And then we would go up and turn on the APU's bleed. So this panel is bleed. We would turn the APU bleed on, and we should have this gauge go up. This is what brings the packs, the air conditioning packs, left and right. These are going to make some noise. Brings the air conditioning packs back online. So now the crew, the people in the back, have air conditioning again, or heating if it's cold. This brings the packs back online. Since the APU is running, it's providing bleed air, so it pulls air off the turbines, heated air, pressurized air off the turbines, and pumps it up into the packs that turn that heated into air conditioning through some magic. So you have bleed air. I'm typically would turn the engine bleeds off. But so the APU is coming up here, and it's going through left pack and right pack through an isolation valve and pressurizing the packs so people don't die inside. Okay, so the anti-collision lights are on. So now we would typically at this point go through the rest of our checks to make sure that we are ready to do pushback. So we don't want any lights on. We can go through, and most pilots will go down they'll go down each column of the overhead one at a time. So they would turn the yaw damper on. They would check the isolation valve. That should go bright, then dim. The crossfeed valve. This is a fuel tank. This is your fuel. So you would turn that on. You would turn the fuel pumps on. A lot of people ask, how does the APU run without a fuel pump? The APU will suction feed from the. I think it's this forward tank, this number 2 switch. Or maybe it's this one. I don't remember. But the APU will suction feed from the tanks even without the main fuel pumps on. We go to this one, and we would say switch to power APU gen. Make sure we have voltage and frequency is correct. These 2 drive lights are the engine generators. They will go off once the engines are started. Same with the gen off bus. Once the engines are started, we'll switch to engine power. We don't need the APU anymore. The wipers are parked. Window heat is on. I turned on the pitot heat. This is all the pitot probes would be here. You heat them so they don't freeze over because that's bad. It's 2 nights of the day. We won't need engine and ice. At this point, I would turn on my electric fuel pumps. The 2 on the outside are hydraulic driven, engine driven hydraulic pumps. Those should go off when the engines are started. Make sure the cockpit recorder is working. Go up here to air conditioner. It's set to 70. What about 75 degrees in the cabin? That's good enough. The voice recorder set to auto. I don't know if you can read that. It says ram door full open. Ram door full open. There's little doors that open on the packs, the front of the packs, to suck in more air when you're on the ground. They will close once we get this up and running. And we have our altitude set to 30,000. Our landing altitude 150. We don't need the wing lights. It's daytime. The logo lights is daytime. And when we look at the engine starters, which are down here, typically the first flight of the day, you pick left or right and switch every flight. So I'm going to choose right because it's the first time of the day.
I honestly thought that all the lights externally were on regardless, like running lights to a car.
No. All right, so at this point, why is that sitting open? That's probably my joystick. Nope. Go away. Go away. There we go. All right, so that's good. That's good. This one have LNAV. That's good. That's good. No idea why it says the speed brake is armed, because it's not. This is your speed brake lever down here on the throttle quadrant. That's good. We do set the park. Let me see if I can get a closer shot of this. I can never remember which button's which. No. Oh, hell. I'll look up from here. This is your auto brake. Auto brake is if you had to do when you're during landing, or if what this is RTO. There's an RTO setting here. We're going to set that. That's RTO, which is rejected takeoff. So this is the anti-skid and auto brake system. If you were to pull the throttles back to, if you reject your takeoff, you would pull your throttles back to idle, and this would automatically apply maximum braking. You would make that decision before your V1 speed. At this point, we would push back. So we would talk to the ground and we'd say, hey, it's time to push back. From where we are, let me see where the gate is. We are going to go, let's see, we need to go that way. So we need to go tail to the right. So I'm going to try my little pushback program here. Let's see, I have it built in. Let's see, pushback. And we'll do a pre-planned pushback. And it does this cool little drawing. This is an application that I had. Let me see if I can remember how to do it. Is you drag the plane where you want it to go. I want to go down here to the taxi line. We'll say here. And then we rotate it, if I can remember how to rotate. Nope, that's not it. Oh, how do you rotate?
Yeah.
There's a button. I don't remember what it is to rotate. This moves it.
You can turn it manually, though, once you get it there.
Yeah, but I don't remember what. There's a button. Oh, hell. Well, this is not good. There's a button to rotate the blade. Let me click the little help button. Click and drag. Click to place away. Press backspace. Scroll and control key to zoom. Scroll. Press enter. Cross it. Well, how do you rotate it? Scroll and adjust the waypoint heading. Oh, okay. Let's try that. The mouse wheel. Hey, look at that.
Mouse wheel. So, yeah, there we go.
Yep. We're going to have him put us right here on this line, right there. Click again. Click again.
Mark says this is way too complicated for me.
Oh.
Web says on FS10, I always just get in, start the engines, and go. That's why.
Yeah, but I'm flying a complex plane.
Yeah. Buck.
So that's where we want to go.
Okay. We can't even do a pushback, Marco.
Yes, we can. So that's good. I think you push enter and request pushback. Now a tug is going to come out of somewhere. I don't know where it comes from. It's going to come from somewhere. It's going to show up in front of the plane.
Go exterior.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to, once he connects, I don't know where he's coming from. He'll show up, though, somewhere.
Jeez.
We'll keep an eye on the front.
You know, it's hard to find good help.
Right? Otherwise, I'm going to push this thing back on myself.
I can get out. I can get out and push. I mean,
yeah,
we
why don't
have
you
a
get out?
window.
Yeah.
I could roll down the window and scream for somebody.
Well, it should have happened by now. See, I told you this was going to be a train wreck. Oh, wait, nope. No,
Oh.
I thought I saw the tug. Because there's the tow bar.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's right there. Buck says he's on lunch break. You know, I'm beginning to believe that. I don't even think it matters the angle because you like that. You had it right. It's just he's not coming.
How do you accept it? Click the wave in or to scroll, press enter to accept. That's what I did. Press enter.
Orlick says, LOL at Eric. You do make me laugh. This is what it's all about. It's all about having fun.
Yeah. I knew this might be a train wreck. I knew we might not even get off the ground, but I'm trying to remember as much as I can. It's been a really long time since I've done this.
We got this. We got this. Relax, Todd. We got this. We don't need the pilot flipping shit right now, okay? Okay, you're good. Good feelings. Yeah. Come on. We've got good feelings.
All right, so I haven't updated this application in a long time, so that may not work, which is okay because we can do it from inside the plane. We'll go back down here and we'll go to FS actions and we'll just ask for a pushback. We want to do taxi to the distance line. I don't think it's that much. We'll say 100 feet to the taxi line with a standard left. All these different things. Standard
Buck says train left. Wreck hell. This is a plane wreck.
We want to turn those to the left. 90 degrees is close enough.
Have some faith.
That's good. Trucks are removed. Units thing return and where's start? Where's go? That's all we have to select the tug. Sure. You want a TPX 200? You want a? Well, that's the only choice you get. Start.
I'll take the 200.
Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start. They want the tail to our right.
Oh, hey, there's the tug.
Yep, there we go. Alex says, "Oh, you're doing great, Todd. You have done 100% better than I could at this stage." Alex, I agree because I wouldn't even have gotten this far. Like everything would have had to automatically been done, like a monkey flips the switch kind of moment.
Well, yeah. If this was like a little King Air, I'd have been flying already, crashing into stuff and looking for people's houses. But this is considered a study level aircraft. This is a fully complex. All the systems are modeled. Every button's modeled. This is the PMDG 737, which I love this plane because it's so realistic.
Like everything's accurate, right, Todd? Like,
yes.
like no buttons.
They even model like how quickly fuel goes through the lines. Like if you were to turn a fuel pump off, how long it takes for that light to come on. That the reason that light takes so long to come off is because how long it takes to pressurize the actual pipe. Like they do a really good job.
Yeah.
So this guy's he's down there connecting up the plane, and he should tell us when he's ready to push.
Dave says, "Have you taken the handbrake off?" LOL. Mark says, you know what? I wouldn't be able to get through cockpit door. So well done so far, Todd. Look at that. Yeah, you got like tons of kudos. Everybody's like rooting for you, man. Love it.
Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start. They want the tail to our right.
Can I open up the window and throw something at him?
Okay, release the parking brakes. Just tap this, or actually, I'll just tap. Normally, you would just tap the brakes. There we go. Oh, are we gonna go? Are we moving? Come on.
No.
Do it. As soon as he gets us moving, I'm gonna start the engines. So.
I can't believe you did have the parking brakes still on. That's funny.
Oh, here we go. We're moving.
Oh my God. Okay, external. Yeah, buddy.
So we're going back. We would normally have wing walkers and all that jazz, but he's pushing us back.
Okay, so does the game actually allot for people to be the wing walkers?
Sometimes you can get add-ons and stuff where you get walkers and stuff that'll push it back.
Okay.
Since we're moving, let's move on to the next step. So we would say, okay, we would start engine number 2. So you'd say start engine number 2, which is this one. It just depends. So we're going to go ahead and click the starter. I'll switch back down to my throttle view, which is this one, because I want to watch these lower gauges. Oh, you know what? I got to turn the packs off. This is where you're inside the plane and you feel the air conditioning turn off while you're pushing back. That is them turning these packs off because they need the bleed air to start the engine. So we're going to go back here, and we're going to watch for N2 rotation. Starter is set. Start valve is open, but we have no go. So let me reset.
D Harris says, I would definitely play this. He needs a new desktop first, but might get you to build me one at Horlicks. So Alex could build him one.
Yep. Oh, I didn't turn these off. I turned them on high. So I got to turn these off. Oops. Okay. You hear the air stops? That's because I'm taking this bleed air and I'm using it to start the engine. So I'm watching for, we're going to turn the starter back on.
Mark says, I'm really enjoying this. It's something so different to watch on a Saturday night. Absolutely, Matt.
So we're looking
hopefully we can get Todd to keep doing this every Saturday.
Yeah. So we're watching for the start valve is now open, which is pushing bleed air into the turbine. Here's the N1, which is the front fan that everybody can see. But we want to care about this N2 turbine. Once it gets to about 22 to 25%, we would open the fuel switch. And we'll do this. Get ready to listen.
That's just so cool. I thought they pushed. I thought the thing pushed the airplane back a little bit quicker than that. That seems kind of slow.
He's trying, but I don't know what's going on. You can see his wheels are spinning. Well, I don't know if it's the rudder pedals are detecting it thinks the brakes are on or something like that. But we'll get there.
Your wheels aren't spinning, are they?
No, it could be that it thinks the brakes are on, but I don't think they are. Anyway, so when the engine is fully started, this is a solenoid switch, and you'll hear it click off, and you'll hear starter off or starter disconnect, and that says that the engine has reached an idle state. A little something they tend to do is they look for 246. So N1 is at 2, exhaust temperatures at 400, and N2 is at 660. So 2, 4, 6. You make sure your pressures are all there, your fuel flow is there. Typically, the pilot or person starting the engines would hold their hand on this lever if anything were to happen during an engine start, and they would cut the fuel. This start lever, they would hold their finger there until that starter cutout happened, because you're looking for high engine temperatures like a flame out or a wet start or something like that. But this is always going to start the engines normally. That's why I went outside to look. So we'll go ahead and start the second engine now, and we'll watch that start from inside. We're watching for this N2 rotation is starting to climb. That's what's going to happen first. Yep. That'll slowly bring the N1 front rotor up to speed. I love when there's wind blowing through the turbine or through the engine the wrong direction. At the airport, you'll watch the front fan spin change direction. There's 24, so we'll give it fuel. Watch for fuel pressure. Fuel flow right here is fuel flow. There's the fuel. Look up, watch the EGT. It's that little red line right there. If that were to pass that red line, we would cut the fuel. So we're just going to watch it start. This will be a normal start.
I wouldn't. I want to see it blow up.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that'd make a good diorama.
You guys hear that okay? I don't know how loud it is. I don't want it to get too loud.
On my end, it's not at all.
Okay, you click. That was the starter cutout. Up there, it went back to off. At that point, once this reaches a normal operating temperature, that little red line is going to disappear. That's good. So we're going to let it stabilize. 2, 4, and this is coming up to 6. And that's it. So the engines are started. That's all it takes to start the engines in 737. All right. At this point, we don't have a lot of yellow left. We need to go ahead and go up to the overhead. Not that one. This one. The drive lights have gone off because the engines are spooled up. We can now go to engine power. We don't need the APU anymore. Okay, the hydraulic lights have gone off. There's no yellow. We can turn the packs back on. We'll turn the air on, packs back on, and turn off the APU. Now the engines are supplying the bleed air to the packs, so the air conditioning can come back on. And now the gen off bus, the APU is no longer needed. We can actually turn off the APU. A lot of times they'll leave it running. It depends on the weather. If the weather's really bad, or it's raining or something like that, they'll leave the APU running during taxi and takeoff. We aren't going to need that, so we'll go ahead and turn off the APU, and we'll switch the power readout to Gen 1, which is the one side number 1 generator, and number 2 generators. Those both look good. No yellows. That's what we're looking for. No yellows there. No yellows on the aft. It's all good. Go back here. Check our recall on master caution, and it goes back off. Nothing stays lit on the 2 6-packs. That's good. This guy is still trying to push this. I don't know where he's taking us. Oh, he's backing us into another plane. So we're going to go ahead and stop him, and he can just go away.
Where's the hula girl on the dashboard?
I don't know where this guy's going. So we're just going to go ahead and tell him, oh, because it was still set to 295. So we'll tell him to stop, get out of our way, and disconnect. So the only yellow we have left now, if we go back here, is TCAS. You'll notice everything else is set. Bill doesn't want to do all nav. That's interesting. I probably missed something.
Next time you fly, I want a bobblehead on the dashboard.
Oh yeah.
Maybe some fuzzy dice hanging in the middle, like that.
Yeah.
Fuzzy dice.
Did
you check the Did you check the rear view mirror, Todd?
No, that's not my job. My job is to have this guy just go away. So at this side, we'll stand on the brakes at the parking brake again, and we'll check our next before taxi checklist, which is saying, okay, are the generators on? The generators are on. Probe heat is on. Yes. Anti-ice, we don't need it. Isolation valves are set to auto. Set that to auto. Both AP engine bleeds are on. Excellent. Engines would now go to continuous, which is continuous ignition. You would do that during takeoff and landing or in bad rain. And it keeps the igniters running all the time so you don't get a flame out. Next thing we'd do is check recall, make sure nothing stays lit. These are the 6-packs, they call them 6-packs, and it says if you have any problems with the systems, the pilot and first officer, captain and first officer are different. These 2 buttons have different words on them. But when you click it and the light stays off, you're all good. Auto brake is set to RTO, correct. Engine start levers are on the idle detent. We did check that. They are in idle. Flight controls are checked. At this point, we want to make sure that all of our surfaces work. You can actually watch the captain do this. Is you go to system, they would click the systems button, and you'll see down here, you can see the movement. I'm going to steer left, steer right, push forward, pull back, and use my rudder, left and right, which is not recording whatsoever. That could have been the problem with the brakes. The rudder doesn't show. That's excellent. So let me fix that real quick. We'll go to the control options and go to my TPR perpendicular rudder.
Buck says that's why it took so long to back up, pushing through another plane.
Yep.
Mark says there is a little checkbox in the bottom left of the screen when asking to share screen that will enable desktop audio. I can hear the audio.
Yep.
Hopefully everybody else can as well. Just let me know in the comments if audio is good to go. You hear little clicks and dings and whatnot. We tried to adjust the volume, the game volume, so it doesn't blast your eardrums out, because when he goes to an external view, the engines can be really loud. And since he's using headphones, he's hearing like everything crystal clear, more than you guys are. So
why does that not move? That's interesting. That's going to make it a hell of a time trying to hear.
Does it have to be reverse access?
No.
because that was checked. Buck, you should be hearing like the little clicks and dings. Yeah, Dee says she can hear it. She. Oh, shit. I did it again. God damn it. Change your name. For fuck's sake.
Well, I don't have any rudder, so that's going to make life hell. What I will do is let me try. I don't know why this doesn't work. I mean, it's pushing the pedals, which maybe this is just not reading it correctly. Let me make sure. I go back in here and go down to my pedestal and make sure the rudder trim is 0. Yep, rudder trim is 0. I'm going to go ahead. I know it worked. We drove this around before. So we'll go back here, and at this far back, we can turn on our not technically TCAS, but we'll turn on the transponder. We'll just leave it on 1, 2, 3, 4. This is standby, and then transponder TARA. We'll just leave it on transponder for ground while we're on the ground. Okay, so that's good. Now we're going to go to our init ref page because we want to go to our takeoff page, which is here. We leave this here so we can see our speeds. We can double check that they're up in here, 188, 258. That's all set. All right. That was the last part, and we check for ground equipment. Let me make sure this is going to be fun. Make sure that we don't have any ground equipment. Oh, there's a cart for that plane, and the tow truck is still there, and yeah.
Oh,
you would make sure the ground equipment is all clear. I don't know how to make that thing. Let's go menu, FS actions, pushback. I told him to stop, go away. Well, we'll see if we can move, because screw that thing. He can just sit there for all I care.
Well, you know, at least the people on each plane can roll down their window and be like, you know, fuck this airline.
Yeah.
I see. We blow this popsicle stand. Get the hell out of here. Let's walk.
All right, we're going to see. Okay, we're going to bring it up to about 30. Is it going to let us move? No, because we're still stuck to the tug. Well, how do you make the tug go away? I told the tug to stop.
I'm a combat engineer. I've dealt with explosives. I can make it go away.
Push back. Start. Stop. Disconnect, you jerk.
It's the new double-bodied 737.
Now let's see.
Yeah, twice as many passengers.
Can I move? No.
Hey,
is he still out there? Right? Let me see if he's still out there. No.
We're not attached. Our plane's not attached to anything. Is his?
No, I have collisions turned off, so you shouldn't. It shouldn't. Parking brake's not set. we should be moving. Why are we not moving? Oh, I told you it was gonna be a train wreck.
Full throttle. Piss on it. Full throttle.
Get takeoff config. Oh, hey, we actually are moving.
Thank you. Ramming speed.
It may have something to do with this plane that's here.
D says so much for the TCAS.
Right? So that sound you're hearing is actually called the takeoff config warning. It means that you are applying throttle before the plane is set for takeoff, and that's because I don't have the flaps down. The flaps down for 5, which we would typically do on the way to the runway.
Buck says hit the TOGA switch.
Toga? No, I'm not hitting Toga yet. Oh, I should have set up a button on my keyboard. Oh, see, I needed a Toga switch. I didn't do that. Oh my god. this? The auto brakes?
It's back.
I'm making a damn mess of this.
Well, Buck, he could explain what Toga is, but
yeah, let me get moving first. I'll tell you Toga here in a minute.
Right.
I got to figure out why something. So I think what's going on is it's dragging. It feels like something is triggering the brakes. That's what it feels like is going on. Is that the brakes are? There's something else on my desk or something else that is saying, hey, the brakes are set. So let me go into the controls real quick and see if anything else is doing brakes.
Okay, I was about to ask it because in American Truck Simulator, you can actually turn on air brake simulation. So I mean, if your air pressure isn't correct, you ain't going anywhere, right? So is that similar to this? Is it air pressure involved for the brakes?
No, it's hydraulic. But I just want to make sure that there's nothing else is set to use brakes.
Buck, I find it very ironic that the scrolling text says that you will fly, in quotes. Okay, Buck, next time we're going to put try. Okay, maybe he just misspelled fly. It's supposed to be try. And okay, guys, like the next time he does a flight sim, he doesn't have to go through the explanation, right? He's already been down that road, so it'll be a lot quicker.
God, it feels like something's on the brakes.
Well, when the guy was pushing you back initially, it didn't look like your front wheels were moving at all. And his was spinning, so... Oh, look. Yeah. Staircase is already pushed up. People are like, nah, we're ditching.
Well, that's this other plane right here, so... I'm going to see if I can get us... We are moving, but so slightly slow. It's almost like the ground coefficient is just stupid high, and it's like we're stuck in mud. We're driving concrete or something.
Right, right.
I mean, we are moving, but man, it is... I can just barely see this plane. I don't know if it's because the things were stuck in this plane or what, but of course the pushback was super slow too. I'm just making a mess of this.
Self-destruct sequence activated.
Yeah, I don't... The only thing I can think of is a ground coefficient, and there's something... Because I bought this airport. This is an add-on airport because I wanted like the detail, and I figured I'd pay the money to make it look good because it's got the whole surrounding area. But we didn't have this problem when we tested it, so...
No. You took off with no power. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Set gravity to Earth norm, Jupiter.
So I'm trying to get away from this plane. We're slowly moving away from it. But it definitely feels like it's dragging the brakes. I mean, we're basically at full throttle, wasting gas. But the wheels are moving. See how they're just barely turning?
I don't see them moving at all.
No, they are.
Okay.
Good.
There we go.
Really slowly.
Yeah. I just saw a lug twitch.
Just barely moving. Wasting fuel.
So once we've sucked all the other passengers properly into our engines,
right?
We can move.
So that's that takeoff warning because I'm at full throttle. I'm trying to think what else that could be.
Can you steer it? Can you swing like left? Because that's where you got to go anyways, right?
Yeah, let me go back outside and make sure the nose wheel steering is working. Well, the rudder's working, but nose wheel steering is not working. That might be... Let me check something real quick. That might be... Yeah, using reserve fuel, no shit. PMDG setup, aircraft, equipment, Let me see if that's in here, because there's something about...
Something said fail. Fail op autoland?
No, it's not. It's somewhere in here. There's a setting for. Let me go back.
737 APU. Somebody says 737 APU. Does that have something to do with it? Maybe. And welcome, Bergness. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but yeah, welcome to the stream. You need to turn the wing on, Alex says.
I mean, we are moving, but God, we are moving super slow. This is ridiculous.
He's going to get off on the other plane. The jet will shoot forward at Mach speed.
Yeah, you're probably right. Like, if once I stop being stuck in this plane, maybe that's what, you know, once it's being, but you know, the pushback was super slow too. Like, something about the.
Gordon says, "Remind me never to fly with Eric." What? I'm not flying, dude. I'm a co-pilot. I'm just watching Todd do this.
That's all fine.
Me, I would have already crashed into the airport. When I opened the stream, I was greeted with a 737 Derriere. Oh yeah, yeah, the back of the airplane.
I'm afraid it's just going to shoot straight, you know.
That's it. Eric is dragging his feet. I am not. And by the way, I rolled up my window, so it ain't that.
I feel like maybe, is it something with this pushback system? Stop pushback. Whoa. It was that system. Whee! Here we go. The pushbacks were standing on top of each other. Oh my God, we're gonna crash! Oh God.
Oh my God.
It was this old pushback system was still trying to do something. Oh my Lord.
Are you serious? It was like still trying to like attach itself.
Yes. It still was trying to. I don't know what it was doing. So now we'll just taxi out. Oh my Lord.
We got this, guys. We got this.
Yeah.
Todd's got this.
Yeah.
Never doubt. Never doubt. Don't be a doubter.
Oh,
this thing got a radio? What's the inside movie? Are we there yet?
So we're about to cross the ground control line. So this line on the ground right here, with the single line and the the dash line. This is the ground control is in here, and you cannot cross this line. Well, I'm sorry. This is a non-control area, which is where we were around the gates. Are non-control means that they're not really controlled by ground. Once you cross this line, you have to get ground clearance to taxi past this point, and you have to be talking to ground. Typically, they'll talk to ground right at the gate, and they'll say taxi out via Alpha Bravo Echo or whatever. But since ATC is not working, we're just going to cross it.
Mark wants to know: do we have enough fuel?
Oh, definitely not. Here, we can fix that though. We're just gonna put more fuel in the plane.
By, grab him.
We're just gonna go. Watch this. Fuel. Oh, 8,000 pounds. Oh, that's terrible. Let's put 9,500 in the plane. Here, watch. Boop. There. Now we have fuel. No worries.
We have fuel.
No worries. We're all good. So we'll get it up to about. You know what's interesting is they still haven't fixed this. Is that at idle, the 737 would roll on its own, just at idle. You just get off the brakes and it would slowly start to move. So you would only have to taxi at about 30%. We watch this ground speed indicator. Right down here below the speed tape is your ground speed, because you don't taxi, you don't turn at more than about 18 knots. And and you can go straight at about 30. Some airports have speed limits. You can only taxi at a certain speed. And since the nose gear is actually behind me, I actually go a little past the line to make turns, and we're going to taxi just out here. We're going to taxi down here. Oh my lord. But we're moving. While we're moving, I'm going to go ahead and set my flaps down to 5, which I'm doing with a button on my keyboard. The actual setting is right here. Your flaps indicator. So we're set it down to 5 for takeoff. Everything looks good.
Why is engine 2 not at the same position as engine 1?
Because my throttles aren't at the same position. I have 2 separate throttle sticks. All right, and then before takeoff checklist is flaps 5, which is hiding behind the reflection here, but I can see the indicators at 5, and we have green lights, which means the LE flaps are extended. So that, and then stabilizer trim is set to our units, which is 5.72. It's hiding right there, and so we are good for takeoff. We'll set this back to our takeoff page. FMC, index, and then takeoff page 148. Back here. Oh my God! That's what you get for looking down. This is what you need a co-pilot for. You need a co-pilot. Driving out, running over runway lights.
If I could look around the cockpit independently, that wouldn't have happened. All right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my eyes are glued with yours.
Yes. So the other thing I'm going to do is we'll go ahead and turn the TCAS on all the way to TARA. You would typically do this. There's an acronym I'll show you when we get to the end of the runway, but that'll get rid of our yellow. Your last yellow indicator traffic is normal because you're on the ground. We have no yellow lights, no yellow lights, no yellow lights. Oh, those are the. I'll show you those while we're taxiing out. Hopefully, I can keep a straight line. These are the leading edge devices. So these are basically the slats on the front of the wings. If I go outside, you'll see that they have dropped down. These are your LE devices, the slats. And our flaps are back here, down at 5.
Burgess says,
I can drive from outside. Let me see. I'll try to drive from outside like I did with you. Let's see if I can stay on the line. Oh, put the camera behind it.
Too busy laughing.
Oh my lord.
The guys are loving it.
Well, I hope they are, because it's totally a train wreck. So this bar we're about to cross, this bar right here, this is called an ILS hold bar. You would not taxi past this point until you're ready for takeoff if the ILS was in bad shape, because having a plane past this point can mess with the ILS landing system. So that would be a ILS hold point. But we're going to go ahead and taxi all the way down to the end of the runway. Another interesting thing when you're looking up the plane at the real airports is see this dash line. The dash taxi line means you're within 150 feet of the runway.
We're getting closer. Buck says, gotta go. Time to work on lights. Have a good one, Buck.
Have a good one, Buck.
Thanks for stopping in.
All right, we're almost to the end of the runway. Go back inside. My God, we might even get off the ground.
Oh, we will. It's inevitable that you will land, whether you want to.
I'll definitely land. If I can get off the ground, I can land. All right, so we're approaching the runway, and all planes will typically stop here unless they get clearance from tower, because this line is a double dashed. So this is tower control. So you have to get tower clearance before you can pass this line. This is the runway hold point. And the tower will clear you to enter the runway. You would also look for planes coming in. Looks like there's one landing. I don't know which runway he's landing on, but we don't have any ATC because for whatever reason it didn't pick up my flight plan. Excuse me. Oh, where's my drink? Because after here, everything goes to hell.
Wait, you can't drink. You're flying.
Oh, I'm having a drink. Anyway, so we can assume these planes won't crash into us. They'll go around, so we can take off whenever we want. So you make sure the runway is cleared. You get clearance from the tower, and then you do lights, camera, action before you enter the runway. So you would typically turn on your landing lights, on, runway turn off lights, on. Always taxi with the light on. I totally forgot to do that. And you set your position strobes, your position lights to start strobing. You strobe when you're on the runway until you get off the runway. Throughout all flight and everything, strobe says, I am about to take off. Tells everybody around you. Lights, so that's lights.
Anyways.
Camera is the transponder. You make sure the camera is on so everybody can see you. So you turn your transponder on. We did that already. And then action is, let's go. So we'll go roll out on the runway.
Busy
and if somebody
airport.
is...
Holy buckets.
Bring our engines up. Start to get us rolling again. Well, it's Las Vegas. I installed all real ATC, or real AI traffic, so all the planes that are flying around us actually have the right markings on them and the right time schedules. So that is a... What is that plane?
Are you talking like realistic right now?
Yes, that is there. That plane should be landing in real life based on their summer 2022 schedules. All right, so God. This is we're on this is a displaced threshold runway. So the planes don't get to land on the part with the arrows. So we're going to get centered up here, and we'll come to a stop. If it's a quick takeoff, sometimes you pull right on the runway and they'll just take off. That depends on the traffic clearance. It depends on the tower. The tower sometimes will say you're clear for takeoff. You can just roll. Sometimes they'll make you stop and sit here. It just depends. But at this point, we would reset. I broke the brakes, so I'm going to reset the brakes. That disarm light should go off. Perfect. We're green, 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 green. Everything's green. All right. Let's go take off. Set it back our thing. And what we're going to do is we are going to put nose down pressure and go up to about 40%. Let the engine stabilize. You'll hear this in every plane you ever take off in. Engines will sit here. And then what we're going to do is push the toga button, which is hiding right here. I need to put this on my
my God.
Toga.
Yeah.
Toga is takeoff, go around. This is the VNAV automatic thrust system. So they hit Toga and then it goes to full thrust. Thrust check. Yes, correct. Airspeed's alive.
44 minutes in, and we are taking off.
Yes, 80 knots. I can release the forward pressure. At 80 knots, the rudder is now taking over authority, so I can steer with the pedals. Waiting for V1.
V1, rotate.
And we'll pull back. Real slow.
That's slow.
Keeping the plane level.
Positive rate of climb.
Okay, gear up. And at this point, I can follow the flight directors, which are down here. On my PFD, there's a pink crosshair. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to follow that. Pink crosshair. I'm just flying manually right now. So we're doing that. We'll bring the flaps up.
Traffic. Traffic.
Oh, I don't care about traffic. I'm not flying with ATCs. They're just with me. Okay. Flying. Keep bringing the flaps up one at a time. Just following this little pink cross that's on my flight display down there at the bottom left, or I guess bottom center. There's a pink crosshair, and all I'm doing is trying to fly that. I might be able to get LNAV to work now. There it goes. So now it's going to change. It's going to start following our ice. Now I'm going to turn. I got to follow the little line. Follow the crosshair. Follow the crosshair. This is what the pilots are doing in real life. They're just following the little crosshair if they're manually flying. All right. Bring the flaps up all the way. We're making a turn towards the west.
Pete from Oz is soon crash position.
Yes. Okay, we're almost there. All right, and what I'll do is I'll hand fly up to like 10,000 feet. When you're in the cabin and you're flying, and after you take off, after about a few minutes, you hear the ding. The whole cockpit goes, the whole passenger, the cabin goes ding. That's when it crosses 10,000 feet. You will hear that in this too.
Oh,
Traffic.
Oh, that's cool.
Traffic.
I don't care about traffic.
So what's our altitude right now? 8,000?
8,400. 8,500, 8,600. You can see it on the PFD down here.
Okay.
So here's altitude, and here's speed. So I'm going to keep going up here. Oh, chase the crosshair, chase the crosshair.
Here's a good question. Is there turbulence in the game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So at this point, I'm going to turn on autopilot, and my hands are off the throttles. Now the plane is flying itself. So Command A and Command B are the two autopilot engagements. So I've turned on Command A. It's now going to follow our lateral navigation and our vertical navigation profiles, which we programmed in the FMC. So vertical navigation obviously is up and down. Lateral is left and right. So at this point, we can look at our map here, and we can even zoom it out, and we can see the path that we're taking. I usually keep this in the air when it's about maybe 40 miles. And we can put it up. Zoom it all the way out. This little TC, I can't remember which button does that. TC is top of climb. So it's going to tell us when we reach the top of climb. You can watch this. Here's our speed target. So it's going to approach the VNAV profile. It's going to say go to 300 knots and hold it. That's fine. This is us just constantly climbing up through 12,000 feet. Go back here. This is our hold. We're not using this heading anymore. But typically what a lot of people will do is they will match this to the heading you're flying at. Since we're flying at about, maybe 210, is they'll rotate this knob, and they'll bring that dotted line on the navigation display to match. If the autopilot were to fail, you would keep flying. You could hit heading select and just keep flying in the direction you were flying before. So they'd probably put it right about there, because there's a little caret. You can see the little pink box sits around the little arrow. This is, even though this is your compass heading, because of the wind is pushing us a little to the, we're aiming to the right to head that direction. So there's a little bit of wind. And you can see here's the wind, 270 degrees at 23 knots. So it's pushing across our nose at this angle.
That's a decent
ground speed is 364 knots. True. So the ground speed, we're going over the ground at 365 knots, which is about 400 miles an hour. And total, this is true airspeed is 379. So you can see they're a little different when we're going at 367, but the wind going across the nose into those pitot tubes is 380 because we have a little bit of a headwind coming at us at an angle. So this is always going to be a little higher. So now, this is it. Basically, to hang out now.
No, Mark says no flying over Disneyland? Question mark. Do they?
I think for security reasons, or maybe Disney asked for it, but there is a permanent TFR over Disneyland, temporary flight restriction. You can't fly over Disneyland. Something probably Disney asked for more than a safety thing. They didn't want planes ruining the experience. Walt Disney World also has one.
A temporary no fly. That's permanent.
Yep. Yeah. It's a TFR that does not ever go away. It never expires.
That's funny.
Yeah. So we can take a look around. We can look around. This is Las Vegas. There's the solar farm. That if you ever drive the road to Kingman, there's the solar farm out there. Here, we'll go outside. See a little better. Crop circle. So Las Vegas is behind us. Las Vegas is right back there.
Yeah. You said the solar panels are in Kingman? That's
well,
Kingman,
this is the road towards, what is that road? Bullhead City. This is the road to Bullhead City. So we're already in California because it doesn't take much to get out of Nevada, I'm sure.
But that's Arizona. Kingman, Arizona, correct?
Yeah. If you look right back there, you can see that's the Colorado River.
Burgess says, same with the DC TFR.
Yep. There's a lot of TFRs that are just never expire. All right, once we hit 10,000 feet, I'm going to go back inside. There's a couple things we can do. Once we hit 10,000 feet.
Says only Disney would have a permanent TFR. Correct.
Above 10,000 feet, we can turn off the landing lights. We can set the engine, the ignition switches to off. and we would typically just make sure that this all looks okay, that looks okay. So we check our engine bleeds are on, make sure the packs are set to auto, the landing gear is up and off. On the 737, it's not just as simple as up and down on the landing gear. The landing gear actually has a center position.
Wow.
Oh, hang on. And we would kick this to the off position. Most any other plane at this point. This plane was built in the 60s. So up is here, down is here, and off is in the center. This depressurizes the hydraulic system. So on the bottom of a 737, the wheels don't go up inside wheel. They don't have covers. So I'll show it to you. On the bottom of a 737, the wheels are exposed.
Oh.
The main landing gear exposed. They don't have doors. So what it is there's a rubber bladder that sits around these wheels that seals the wheel into place. And so the wheel goes up and then sits on locks. And so you release the hydraulic pressure so the wheels will sit down on the locks and seal the hole. They don't have doors.
Burgess says, to be honest, I'd rather go to the airport than Disneyland. I hear you. I think Disney World and Disneyland's overrated. He says, be right back. Not a problem.
All right, another thing is when you pass the transition altitude, you'll notice that we have a little yellow flag here. Transition altitude in the U.S. is 18,000 feet. When you pass when you're above 18,000 feet, you stop using the ground barometric pressure and you use standard barometric pressure. So all planes above 18,000 feet all fly at a 29.92 barometric pressure. So they make sure that all the altimeters on all the planes above 18,000 feet are in sync. And so you would just set that by hitting standard.
Oh, look who showed up. Hey, Ian.
Hey, why not? Southwest flies everywhere we fly.
Todd piloting a Southwest flight. Seems accurate. Mm-hmm. Hey, Todd's a pilot. Like, he knows how to fly. Todd's flown. What was the biggest plane that you flew?
Personally?
Yeah.
Or just in a sim? Oh, personally?
No, not a sim. Like in real life. Didn't you?
No, in real life, I flew a Cessna 172 for like 4 times, and that was it.
Hey, that's 4 times more than me, and probably more than anybody else in this chat. Mm-hmm. But you know what? From what I hear, okay, because I'm not familiar with the process of piloting, but from what I hear, to even take your first flight, you have to have hours and hours and hours of like book time and courses and.
Oh no, they'll take you up in a intro flight and they'll let you take off on the very first one. Like, hi, I'd like to get a pilot's license. They go, here, get in the plane.
Oh my God, really?
Yep.
Oh my God, I did not know that. That's insane. Oh my God, maybe I should try that.
Yeah, why not? Everything looks good. Autopilot's on, LNAV, VNAV, that's all good. Auto throttles are good.
Here's a big question, Todd. Are you going to fly a helicopter next Saturday?
Well, I can try.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Wayne Weatherwax, welcome to the stream. He says 10 hours of time, and I did my first solo.
Excellent.
So
congrats.
Nice. 10 hours. Wow. And then so yeah, you're right. I mean, that's pretty quick, you know. Ian says I lifted off in a Pontiac Grand Am rental car.
It's pretty easy to do in San Fran. It's good.
Wayne says helicopters are not supposed to be able to fly. True. You wouldn't think, but they do, and very fast. Have you ever seen Airwolf? I mean, come on, that's fast. And since Airwolf was a real helicopter, I don't know how fast the Bell helicopter actually flew, but that's what they used for Airwolf. Was the Bell? God, what was it, Todd? Bell to something 22, 522? No, Bell. It had a 2 in it. the designation number. I just can't remember now. Ooh, Burgess. Fun fact, Southwest Airlines does not fly to my country. Oh. What country would that be? Sweden? I mean, European, somewhere over there? Ian says, I bought the supplemental insurance for that very purpose. I bet. Ian, okay. Ian, Burgess, and Steve, the Maker's Cave, welcome. They all said the Bell 222. I knew it had a 2 in it. I just didn't realize how many.
So I don't know if you heard that chime real quick. That chime just means you're 1,000 feet from your assigned the altitude you set. So that chime went off at 29,000. We have just leveled off. So the engines are going to pull back. You'll hear the engines pull back as we reach cruising altitude. They're slow. You can see them slowly pulling back automatically. They'll slowly come back to maintain our flight speed now that we've leveled off. We're not climbing anymore. We're in CRZ and cruise mode.
Mark says a helicopter part work would be awesome. I
want one.
If they did an Airwolf, oh my god!
I keep asking for it. Any popular, even Blue Thunder, just to have a helicopter part work would be kind of cool. But I'd rather do Airwolf.
That was what it was called, Blue Thunder. I couldn't remember the other one. Blue Thunder was pretty cool. So Southwest Airlines does not fly to Iceland. That's interesting.
Yeah, they just barely started flying outside the country. They fly like Mexico, I think some places in Canada and stuff. So we are 35 miles from top of descent. We'll go back down here. So here's top of descent. So to start the descent, we got to do a couple things. This is a short flight, so we don't spend a lot of time in cruise. We need to set the landing parameters. We need to set our auto brakes to landing mode, which is 1, 2, or 3. Typically, we're going to just set them to 2. That's a typical landing. If it was wet, you may not want that much, or if you need a very short runway, you would set it to 3 perhaps. But we're not going to do that. The next thing we're going to do is check our landing. I already said we're going to land on, since I set it departure and arrivals, to land on runway 25 right. InitRef already knows and gives us the ILS frequencies. It says it's a 12,923 foot runway. It's extremely long. And it asks what it already has flap speeds in here. So a typical landing is at 30 degrees flaps. That's 149 knots. So I picked that number and I set it in here to set the VREF, the landing speed. We want to land at 149. That will put it on the screen right here, just to remind the pilot that it's set. Approach briefing is we're gonna buzz Disneyland. Hopefully we can see it. We would check the pressurization. Right here, make sure this is set to the landing altitude. It is. We're good there. We would check the recall, make sure we don't have any alarms. The master caution did not stay on, which is excellent. And that's it. That's our.
Well, that was a quick like pre-do for top of descent.
Yep, we'll pop outside again here. Let's see what we can see. If we can see anything. Recognize.
Hey, we even got the jet trails.
Oh yeah, contrails.
Oh, contrails. Yeah.
Contrails. Well, just the engine, the humidity in the engine, the humidity in the air makes that the heat of the engines. We got it. Looks like a highway down there. Another highway. I don't know what we're flying over. Some little town.
So there's no map. I mean, obviously you get coordinates and stuff.
Oh no, there's a map. You want to see where we are? Here, I'll pull up the VFR map. Let me see if I can pick up some of the. See what we're running. I think we can make this a little bigger.
GPS tracking is on.
There's the. We're flying over the Heck via Vortak or something. That's an airport. DAG.
K-DAG.
Let me look up what DAG is. The DAG, K-DAG airport. We kind of know where we are. But this is the route we're going to fly to Fretz, Anaheim, land right there.
Yeah.
And we'll end up at LAX. So K-DAG, what is K-DAG? That's off to our right.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at right there. Yeah. Looks like a municipal, huh? It doesn't look.
Maybe.
From
Yeah,
here.
it's a small airport. It's not a big one. There's an airport there somewhere, or maybe right there. It's hard to tell from up here. Down in this general area.
Chemtrails.
KVCV is Victorville. Oh, there's Victorville. Okay, that's up here. That's out here somewhere. KDAG is directly off to our right. So, oh, it's right there. So KDAG Airport, whatever KDAG is that. That's there. There's the KDAG Airport.
Oh, that's definitely a municipal. That's a puddle jumper right there.
Ah, it's got 2 angled runways. That could be something. Somebody look up KDAG. Google it. I don't know what KDAG is.
Google it.
Where's the sun? Oh, it's way up there. Oh, chemtrails right in the face. Oh. Ian would be breathing in deep right now. Nice big deep breaths.
Oh, Katrina, welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it. At your height, how do you fit in the cockpit of a plane, Todd?
I pretty much don't.
Burgess, Barstow Daggett Airport.
You know what? I forgot to do this. This is my bad. I forgot to lower our altitude restrictions so we would actually start diving or start descending. I forgot to do that, so I'm going to hit the alt intervent, which is going to say, hey, override the previous restriction. And I need to bring this down to the entry height of our landing. So I need to actually check that. Let's go see.
Burgess said Barstow Daggett Airport.
Oh, it's Barstow. Okay. All right.
K-Dag.
Perfect.
Yep.
Let me go to our route.
Ian says you're flying the world's biggest vape pen.
Yes. You know what I want to check real quick is, what did we say we're going to arrive on? 25 right. So let me go look this up real quick. I just want to see what the entry altitude is for that. Look up a different airport. I didn't bring my charts. I should have brought charts, but I don't want to get that complicated. Oh, shit. That's not what I want.
Yeah, you know, the one thing you don't want to hear the pilot say is, oops, shit.
Yeah, oops, shit. That's exactly right. IFR plates, ILS 25 right, ILS localizer.
D says, evening, Ian.
25 right. And
Alex, I don't know why. I mean, I guess people across the puddle, you know, in Europe, UK, you know, they see Disney World, Disneyland, and they're like, wow, you know, look at it. But you got to realize when you're like rubbing noses with it, and you're on the ground, there's a minimum 2-hour wait on most of the rides. Not gonna lie. Now, I've never personally been there, but I've talked to numerous people that go, especially my sister. She just went there, and yeah, so it's expensive. Like Todd was just there, you know, and who knows how much he spent, you know, to have a good time.
Are you talking about on my home cockpit?
No. We're talking about Disneyland. Because Alex wants to go. Like that's his big dream. He wants to go, and I was like,
Disney World is better.
It's not as fun as most people think. The crowds can be rude, vicious, brutal. The wait times are 2 hours per ride.
No, I did almost every ride in Disneyland except for one in one day, and I started at 1 o'clock.
What was your longest wait?
Ooh, half hour, maybe tops.
See, too long. No,
okay, I got to set up some things here. We have to do a couple things. There's we're in descent and we're approaching our last little leg of things here. It's 40 miles away. So what I did is I went to the FMC and I go to legs. You have the route page, which is the route we've set, and legs are each step of the route. So the next waypoint is Fritz. It's 45 miles away. then then here's Anaheim, where Disneyland should be 6.9 miles past the previous one. But what I wanted is I want to go to the next page and look for the runway. Here's the runway that we're landing on, and this is what they call the FAF, or the final approach fix, 1,900 feet. So what I did is I set my plane to fly down to 1,900 feet. So it's in descent right now. It's descending on its own, and it'll descend to 1,900 feet and stop. What I'm hoping is that we can, and if you really want to, I can make us. You know what I'll do? Where is previous page? Anaheim. It's going to have us at 7,000 feet. So how about we have some fun, and we're going to set 3,700 feet.
I was going to say, drop that number.
Yeah, no, we'll since this is a restriction, shell is 3,700 above, we'll go to the, let me clear this, the speed is fine, but I need to change the number after the slash, so I got to put the slash in first, and I want to be at 3,700 feet by Anaheim, and execute, and it's going to recompute the entire descent path. So now when we cross over Anaheim, we'll be at 3,700, and we'll fly 3,700 to shell, and then go down to 1,900 here, and I can still leave the autopilot at 1,900 because it's just going to follow the flight plan. So it'll make us descend a little quicker. We're down at 1,200 feet minus, going down to 1,200 feet per minute.
My ears want to plug up and pop.
They want to pop already?
This game. Yeah, they just want to, like, just watching this. It's like, oh my god, flashbacks. What type of Steve wants to know, what type of rotorcraft do they have in the sim?
They have a Bell 407. I think it's a 407, like the standard Bell that everybody sees. And they have some other chopper, some little weird, like experimental. But now that they've opened rotorcraft up, I'm sure that a ton of people are going to make planes. They'll make a bunch of helicopters. If somebody doesn't make Airwolf, I would be surprised, except they probably won't be able to put it on the marketplace because it's copyrighted.
Right, yeah.
There's a Southwest 581. Go look up Southwest 581, see where he's flying. I can do it. Here, we'll open up on FlightAware.
Burgess says when the pilot uses expletives, it's already bad and about to get worse.
So Southwest 581 is a flight from, it says Dallas to Los Angeles. Well, I hope we're flying in the right direction.
Oh, boy.
Southwest 2230.
Let's
look at that one. SWA 2230 is a flight from Burbank to Phoenix. Oh, well, he's going to Phoenix. That guy right there.
Alex wants to go on the Guardians of the Galaxy ride and see Star Wars land.
That's what I did. That's the whole point I went, was to do that. To go that. There's some water ahead of us. No idea what this is. Some kind of reservoir. What is this lake?
Burgess says Bell 407. Yeah, Alex. He says, I suppose, Eric, it's all when you go, would have to be off season. Yeah, no, I'm just letting you know. Just, I've known, of course, Todd had really good experiences. My sister goes a lot. But if you're like me, my personal bubble is big. I don't like people I don't like being elbow to elbow. Somebody's going to get hurt. I'm just saying. So, Burgess says, and the Gwimble Cabri G2. Did I say that right?
That must be the other helicopter. That sounds about right.
Okay.
So if you look out there, you can see there's the ocean. There's the Pacific Ocean right there. See this? That's the water line.
This time, this flight seems less stormy than last one. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, well, this is real weather, so some kind of river. What is that? Now we're flying over populated areas.
Ooh,
so if I crash,
nice
it's definitely gonna be a mess.
Nice mountains. Hey, just don't try and land on the strip this time.
Yeah, so LAX is roughly over here. We're basically flying straight to Anaheim, and then I'll curve to the right. We'll head back north and then curve into LAX. There's the island.
Todd was trying to land the plane downtown. Oh God, what was it, Vegas? And he was trying to land on the strip.
No, I didn't try to land the strip. I buzzed the strip.
Oh, buzzed the shit. That's what it was.
I just flew down Las Vegas Boulevard at about 50 feet at 300 knots. So, yeah.
That was awesome, though.
And then I got into like a King Air and tried to land on your house and crashed. So.
Yeah, they're still cleaning the mess up at the end of the street, but that's all right.
A little bit of wing flex going on.
Oh wow! Yeah, look at that. God, the amount, to even program something like this game, the back end, like if you were to peel off all the pretty graphics and to look at the code, like that's just insane. The computations being made every second.
Yeah, I mean the reflection on the wing, you can see Southwest in the wing. They did a good job.
And everything's current and up to date. The weather.
Yeah, it uses exactly what it looks like right Bing now. Satellite. It uses Bing Satellite for all the ground textures. So it's, I have an add-on that'll change it to Google Maps. So all the textures will be Google Maps, but I didn't want to mess with it and add more complexity to what we're doing.
Well, what exactly is the difference? To be honest,
Bing and Google have just different. The textures are a little different. Sometimes Bing will be more accurate, or sometimes Google's more accurate or up to date. More recent. But
Burgess says, for your information, the Copenhagen strip is not as straight as the Vegas one.
Yeah, I tried to make the turn at the Stratosphere and about crashed into the Stratosphere. Actually, I think I took the top of it off, if I remember correctly.
You did, but collisions were off, which sucked. I wanted to see you tailspin.
Okay, so we've crossed below 18,000 feet, so we would go back to the barometer of the local airport. So we would just hit standard, and then we would the ATC would tell us what the barometer is. But I have no idea what it is, so maybe we can tune to KLAX's ATIS. Let's see if I can find it.
Ian said he had Microsoft Flight Sim 2000, and he didn't care for it. He said it was pretty crappy.
Oh shit! I hit the flaps button. That'll break some shit.
I don't know. I had one of the very first iterations of Flight Sim, like way back in the day, and it was okay for what it was back in the day.
Because we should be able to hear the ATIS pretty far away. It is 132.8. So we'll go back here. 132.8.
You started to make a bank and then look down. Is that going to be bad?
No.
Are we going to crash?
We're on autopilot. Okay. The plane's flying itself right now.
Oh, it's autopilot still. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see if we can pick up ATIS. If we get close enough. So we're turning towards Jaunty. And then Anaheim is right after that. I'll zoom the map in down here a little bit so we can see there's Anaheim. So Disneyland this is right next to Disneyland.
What?
So when we get to Anaheim, we'll look outside and see if we can see the.
What are we for altitude?
We're at 12,000.
Are we still above 12? 12,000, and we got to get to what? You set it to 37.
3,700, but it's not descending fast enough because it's on profile. It's trying to stay on profile.
Yeah.
So what we can do is I can put the 737 is a very slippery plane, and so what I'll do is I'll put the flight spoilers out. And what this does is this creates a bunch of drag, and it makes us drop a lot faster.
Well, it shouldn't actually have any issue, because when you put in the 3,700, you put it after the slash, right? And it's supposed to override, right, any previous instructions for that, correct?
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just kind of taking its time.
No, it's still set for 3,700, but what it's doing is it's trying to catch the profile, and it's actually saying that we are high. See, and it's trying to chase the profile. See how this is the descent profile, and it's way off the descent profile because I probably changed it mid-flight or we were going too fast. And so we can do a couple things. We can either speed the plane up, which will allow it to descend faster, but this number is coming down. See the 3,400?
Oh,
3,400, 3,300. You know, it's coming down. So eventually we'll get back on profile. So what I did is I just added a lot of drag. I put I put these flight spoilers, which is the speed brakes basically. So the flaps on the wings are open a little bit. You can see them here.
Oh,
these
yeah.
create drag, and sometimes you'll hear that in a real plane. You'll hear the sound of those from inside the cabin. And all I'm doing is slowing the plane down, which lets it come down on a faster descent.
I always like getting seats right on the wing, the window seats on the wing. I always like those.
So we'll let that ride, and this number is now down to 2,900. So see this green arc? This green arc is your target altitude. So the target altitude of that is set for what it's. Well, that's the 1,900. If I set the, hang on a second, if I go up here and set this to 3,700, that number will come in closer. So it's going to say we'll reach 3,700 at this arc.
Oh, hang on, Todd. Alex says, really enjoyed this, Todd and Eric. Must go now, but I have paused the video and will catch up as I want to see the landing. Thanks for a good night, and maybe back before you end.
Yeah.
Have a good one, Alex. D says, see you later. Okay.
What I need to do real quick is, so we're coming up on Anaheim. It's 5 miles away right now, so we'll go outside. We're going to be a little high, but that's okay. And we're going to see.
300 knots. We're coming in hot.
Yeah, we're just a little high. There's Anaheim. Oh, there's the baseball field.
Oh, yeah.
For the Anaheim. Yeah. Who plays
Anaheim Angels? Is that where they are? I think, isn't it? The Anaheim Angels, right?
And then that's Disneyland right there. I can see it.
Where's the castle?
That's Disneyland.
The castle.
Or that looks like it.
Oh, there's the pyramid. Looks like a pyramid. Is that a pyramid?
Maybe not. Kind of looks like it.
No way.
That can't be Disneyland.
No,
I don't recognize like Space Mountain or anything. Let's keep looking forward. Oh yeah, no, that's Space Mountain right there. That is.
Oh, okay.
There's Main Street. There's the castle right there.
Oh, there it is.
Buzz Disneyland. There's the Frontierland. We're right over Disneyland. There's Space Mountain. There's the let me get this. Oh, we're gonna lose it. There's the carousel behind the castle. I'm not doing very good with this camera thing.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Disneyland.
And you just went there. What? How long ago? A couple weeks?
A couple weeks ago. Yep. Right off the. What is this? The 5 or 4 or 5? So we buzzed Disneyland. Excellent. I wanted to do that.
That was awesome. Good job, Todd.
So as we get closer, this is the approach line to the runway. So this is the approach line. We need to set the, I forgot to do that. Intergraph 111.10. So we're going to go down here and set our nav radios.
Burgess says, and the car park is almost as big as the park itself. That I can imagine.
We're going to set both nav radios to the ILS, 111.10, and make them active. So 111.10, so this should pick up the, if we look right in here, we should see, it should pick up the ILS when we get close enough. It'll tell us we're 21 miles from the runway. So, and then we need to put in the course, which is 251 on the course. So that's going to be up here.
Didn't we already do that before takeoff? You already set like the...
Not the ground, not the landing stuff. So this is 251 and 251. Put it on both sides.
Okay.
Course is set, course is set. Okay, so what we're going to do is once we get close enough to this line, we will arm Vorlock. We'll hopefully put the plane on the localizer. So at shell, we need to be at 3,700. go back to legs. Previous page. Shell 3,700 or above. Okay, and we should be very close to 3,700. We are at 3,700. Perfect.
So if you wanted that below, it would just be 3,700B.
Yep.
Okay. So it's pretty simple.
So we are flying really fast. So what I am going to do is I'm going to open the speed window. And bring us down to flaps up speed. Slow us down.
Sometimes you land at a different airport than you took off from.
Mm-hmm.
Just was saying.
Landing check. So we're back in the landing checklist since we're on this thing. So we want to put these back to continuous for landing. We want to arm the speed brake, which I will do. Let's see, what button is that? We're going to set this back to armed, but not down. And the speed brake arm light should be on. It is. Auto brake is still set to 2, which is good. And then we're just going to go flaps and gear on schedule. All right, so that puts us on here. We should be able to hit Vorlock. And Vorlock down here in our little PFD will say Vorlock is armed. And there's our little dot, the diamond. The diamond says that's the localizer. This is the glide slope. So it's telling us we are on path. And since we have captured both of them, since they're both pink, we're going to go ahead and set this to approach mode. And now we're going to bring the speed down. So we'll go down here and we'll start our first step of flaps. We're going to go all the way down to 5. Single channel is auto land, but we're going to try a manual here. Let's see if we can. And we should be able to see the runway. It should be right in front of us. It is. So 25 right is this runway right here. So we're on path, which is good.
Is that other air traffic that we're seeing pop up there?
Yeah.
The identifiers? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is our approach speed was 149, so we're going to do 149 plus 5. So we'll do 154. That's just for wind corrections. It's a little bit of a headwind, so that'll be okay. That's good. 2,500 feet. The flaps are coming down. We're slowing down. Okay, so we're slowing down. We're slowing down. We're slowing down. This is the flap schedule. This can be hard because I got to do all this while we're landing. But this is our speed. We're slowly coming down. This is where you want to flaps 1. This is where you want flaps 5, and this is our landing reference. So I put our indicator at our landing reference.
When does the landing gear come down?
At 15.
At what?
So.
At what?
15. So I'm going to keep going down on our flaps. We'll go down past 10 to 15. We'll put our gear down. This will slow us down a lot.
Yeah. A little bit of wind resistance going on. And I like the fact that everything on the ground is not just a 2D map. It's actually 3-dimensional buildings and trees, shadows. We made it before sunset. I'm impressed.
I was hoping to land at sunset, but, you know.
Well, it depends. Do they hold you in a pattern if it's too busy, like a queue?
I didn't want to mess with that at all. All right. So now we're on a stabilized approach. We're going to go down to flaps 30.
1,000.
And then I will try to kick off I'm going to try to land this thing with no autopilot.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Any Catholics in the house, this is the time to start throwing up some Hail Mary.
Short continuous speed brake is armed. Landing gear is down. 3 green lights. Flaps are green with 3. Yep. All right. We're down to like
2 hours. 2 hours, 25 minutes, and we are seeing a landing.
Uh, 500 feet, I'll disconnect. There's 580, 570, 560 to ground, 560. The radar altimeter is in the bottom of the attitude indicator, 510. Here we go. Oh, that button's not working. Okay, so we're going to do this. Oh, crap. So autopilot's off.
Oh, shit. You have 10 seconds to reach minimal safe distance.
Oh, that's going to be annoying. Let me turn that off. Shut.
100.
Check.
Oh, we're going to hit.
50.
Hold the attitude.
We're going to bounce.
20.
A little bit of flare. Hold the attitude. Hold the attitude.
We're going to die.
That's it. We're on the ground.
Reversers. See, I knew we were going to make it.
Shut
up. Katrina says this was a cheap flight. We didn't even get complimentary peanuts and a drink. Nah, Todd is cheap.
Yeah.
He doesn't serve that.
So the thrust reversers were open. Green lights. Down to 80.
Ian says, smoke them if you got them, people.
Close the thrust reversers. We'll take this high-speed exit here.
D says, seats in the upright position, trays and lock and kiss your ass goodbye.
And we'll get off and just enter this runway. And I'm going to hold here for a minute. And we'll do cleanup.
Ian says this was a disappointing anticlimactic ending. Ian, it was supposed to be anticlimactic. That means it was a success.
Right? So now we would put the gear up. Or not the gear, the flaps. So we're turning the flaps to the up position. We're still in the speed brake. We'll start the APU. We don't need continuous on the engines anymore.
We don't need stairs to climb down. Just slam the landing gear up and we're good.
All right, we'll taxi in. Let's see if we can get the radio to give us a taxi to the gate. We'll taxi Los Angeles.
D. Harris says, nice landing.
Los Angeles ground, Southwest 228, request taxi to the gate.
This guy's going to drive right through us. Watch. Oh,
Southwest
no.
228 taxi.
General aviation.
Parking via taxiway.
No.
Bravo Charlie 10 Charlie.
No. Okay, sure.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway Bravo Charlie 10 Charlie Southwest 228.
Does this mean we get to use the inflatable raft with the slide? Is that what can we use that? Mark says, Eric, if Todd is cheap, you are way worse. LOL. I am.
All right, we're just going to go find a gate and park at it because I don't want to park at general aviation.
Success has never been so disappointing, Ian says. You know, Todd did amazing. What has it been like over a year?
Watch this guy. He's supposed to stop.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh!
We're just going to pick a gate that's right in here. This looks like the international terminal. This is the international terminal.
The plane is usable again. See? What are the blue arrows for?
That's telling me it's helping me taxi, but I'm not going to listen to them because it's trying to take me to general aviation. So we're going to go to gate 157 at the Brady? I think it's Bradley terminal.
Ian's got some inner rage. Should have crashed the van. Ian, calm down.
Oh.
Don't have so much coffee.
Oh, God. Stop. Screech. So then what we would do is now we're stopped. We set the parking brake. And then you would hear this inside the plane too is, oh, that didn't start. Why didn't that start? This should have been started already. I didn't do it. Before you turn the engines off, you would kick the APU on. I also didn't turn my landing lights on at 10,000 feet. I didn't turn my taxi on the ground. I'm terrible. Oh, I was supposed to turn these lights off when you do the runway. Oh.
Dave said, hey, we made it. Thanks for the trip. 2 thumbs up. Yeah, he did great, Dave.
And then let's see if I can trigger this jetway. Oh, here it comes. Okay, good.
There we go. Are we too far away? Or?
Oh, it'll get to us.
Okay.
Wait for this thing to go blue. This would normally be done by the first officer as the captain taxis in. We're going to wait for the APU to stabilize. Then we would, that's inside the cabin. Everything would flicker. So now we're off the engines. We turn on the APU bleed. Turn off now the APU is feeding the packs, which is all good.
Are we plugged in electrically?
No, we're just on the APU. So that's fine. So what we would do now is we would shut the engines off. So what you look for is what Flight Deck the Sim always likes to say. 2 blues. He says 2 blues, and oh god, hell, which view is it? This one. Two blues and one red.
On your co-pilot.
Yeah, he says 2 blues and 1 red. The engines are dead, so the engine power is off of the engines, and the parking brake is set. Turn the engines off, and then once N2 comes below 20%, as the engines spin down.
Donnie made it. Donnie says you're parking illegally, Todd. Yes,
I know.
We are. But
I know.
So if you saw Donnie the beginning of this damn flight, this is a win.
Yep, and it collisions off at 20%. So we're on the APU. Now we can request ground power. Ground surfaces, external pit power. Chocks would go in, request ground power. At this point, you can let the passengers stand up as they're getting there. Ground power is now connected. This light comes on. Now we're on ground power, and we can shut off the APU.
Nice.
And then that's pretty much it. The rest of it is just turning the plane off. Turn off this, turn off the pitot tubes, turn off window heat. We're on ground power
what
now.
What did you say?
Ground
turn
power.
Off torpedo tubes?
The pitot tubes.
Oh, pitot. I think you said torpedo, and I'm like, holy shit.
Pitot tubes. Position lights we leave on all the time. That tells us that the plane is powered. Anti-collision says that the hydraulics are powered and stay away. But the position lights are always on. I would set the igniter back to center or left for the next pilot. That's good. That's good. We can open the doors. You're not going to be able to see it, but because it's inside the jetway now, but we'll open that door.
Open them all.
You want them all open? All right.
Yeah, kick them all out.
We'll open this
They're
door.
already complaining we didn't serve peanuts. So, you know what?
Well, we'll open all of the doors. And then, and the cargo hatches. Can open all that. Here, watch. What we'll do is we will then request, we'll request the water guy, the lavatory guy. We don't need a fuel truck. We'll request galley service at the front doors. How about a cabin cleaning? You want cabin cleaning?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, let's get the cabin cleaners. Let's get the galley people. Let's request the front and rear cargo loaders. Everybody to service the plane.
Oh, Burgess says some 737s can carry torpedoes. They're called the P-8A Poseidon.
Oh, the Poseidons, yes. So here's our little galley truck. He's going to bring us food.
Good. I want pizza.
He's going to restock the peanuts. Just the peanuts you don't like. Who's this guy? Where are you going? Oh my God, that's an old paint job.
Is he bringing the wild turkey into the cabin, or do I have to bring him back?
No, I think if I remember correctly, he does run carts inside of inside the plane. There's the cargo. There's the baggage loader. Here's the lavatory guy. You know, they're coming to drain all the piss and poop out. This is extremely dangerous. Just have a door open, somebody fall out. Here comes the other cargo, the luggage loader.
We're airing it out.
Yeah.
It's an old plane.
Yeah.
It smells like
I don't know if he brings, because I know GSX, which is ground services, is an add-on for this that animates all this luggage going up and down and people walking in, but all this is the PMDG stuff that came with the plane. And ground power is connected. There's a little cable. No, and they, let's see, we can also...
Now, the airport you took off from, you said you had to buy it. That was a bought add-on, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so what about this one? Is this also a bought add-on, or is this default with the game?
Oh, no, PMDG is a very expensive plane to buy, but I like it because it's incredibly accurate, so... And then that's pretty much it. I mean, shutdown is turn the fuel pumps off, turn the throw feed off, hydraulics, flaps are up, parking brake is set, engine start levers, and weather radar is turned off. Well, we didn't turn off the transponder. Bad us. We would set that back to standby. And then shutdown is to turn off the IRSs, the emergency lights, window heat, and the packs, but we don't have to do a full shutdown. But that was pretty much it. We can pop outside real quick and take a look around LA. at Los Angeles Airport. This is definitely the Brady International Terminal. There's the UFO
Never
Arch.
been there.
Tower.
Never been there.
Los Angeles Airport.
Oh, I bet this place is busy as all get out.
Oh yeah. But that was it. I managed to do it without, too many disasters other than, the pushback getting us stuck in that plane in the beginning.
Yeah, but you could. Yeah, we were able to correct. I mean, we almost did like Mach 9 into the airport, but
yeah.
Wasn't too bad.
No, and I can grab my Warthog, my Thrustmaster Warthog, and I can try to fly a helicopter. So if that's a thing, and we want to try to fly a helicopter, we should go looking for people's houses. What do you think? Should we go take off from Bismarck and go fly for your house? And then if Buck's on, we'll go fly there. We'll see if we can find their house.
That would be sweet. That would be sweet. Burgess says that his airport, the P-8s get their sonar buoys refilled via catering trucks.
What kind of plane is that? What do we got over there? Is that El Al? That's the Israeli airline. What else we got? Cathay Pacific over there.
Wait a minute. Go back. Turn back to that other plane. That's a Jewish symbol, isn't it?
That's El Al. Isn't El Al the Israeli airline?
Yeah.
That looks like
I think so.
777 with the ducks, maybe a 8.
The engines are like twice the size of the South as ours.
Well, 777, fun fact, the 777, the GE 110s that are on this engine, this cowling is the same size as the entire fuselage. So the engine is as big around as this entire plane is.
The El Al, Burgess says, is a 787.
Okay. There you go. Here comes a little Delta. Another 737. Remember 73 there. What is this plane back there? What do we got? Oh, I can't see it. Austrian. There's a little Austrian plane back there. I guess all of there's Americans. They're American Airlines over there. Yeah, I installed AIG Alpha India Group has they have an add-on that here's an Alaska next to us that adds all of the paint jobs. Otherwise, these would all just be generic paints. So all these planes have realistic markings now. So I thought that would be kind of cool to install all those.
Oh yeah, no, for real, yeah.
And that's what installs all of their flight schedules as well. So the planes fly reasonably accurate flight schedules.
Mark
Delta's probably pissed. I did. I probably nicked his spot. He probably was supposed to park here, and I said, "Screw it, I'm parking here."
Yeah.
He came from Seattle. This guy's flying in from Seattle.
I've flown in an Austrian E190 like that, Burgess says.
And then, if this was the last flight of the day, we can do the shutdown process, which is basically just turn everything off. Once the passenger's all gone, we would turn off the emergency lights. Pumps are off, those are off, those are off, everything's off. These are set to normal. These will reset when the plane powers back on. Fuel pumps are all off. Yaw damper will come off on its own. And then we would shut down the IRSs. And the emergency exit lights we already did. And then the window heat would be turned off. The packs would be turned off because we would be on jetway air conditioning. Leave this open. Typically, the isolation valve is left open so it doesn't freeze in a certain position if it gets too cold. All the doors are left open, and then we would kick off ground power. And it gets really quiet because we lose AC, and then we would kick off the battery. That's it.
Wow.
Plane's dark. Park it for the night. Go to sleep.
Is there valet? Do we have valet? No.
Right. And now it's nice and quiet and ready for the next person while all doors open.
We're totally doing helicopter. I mean, you got to do a helicopter. Next Saturday, same bat time, same bat schedule. Todd and we'll be doing helicopter.
Yeah. So that's all I had. I just wanted to see if I could get it done. It's been a really long time since I've flown it, so it was interesting to try. Now I have to go buy Ethernet cables so I can stop using wireless in the other room where I do the streaming from, so it stopped being blurry.
Yeah, well, that might help. That might help. Again, it could have been a program issue, OBS or something.
Who knows?
Also, parking aircraft for a longer time is a whole nother bigger checklist.
Well, yeah, but that is typically not done by the pilot, though. That is typically done by maintenance. Like if they're parking it, and they'll cover the engines and all sorts of stuff. But I'm just a lowly pilot. I only get paid door to door, man. I turn the plane off and I leave.
But hey, I'm gonna everybody give kudos to Todd. We made it. We didn't die. Right? Everybody stand up. Give him an ovation. Seriously, you did a great
I'm surprised
job.
that we had that worked at all. So,
dude, that was a lot. I was just sitting here seriously in awe because you were like, "Oh yeah, and do this and flip that, and I got it in the correct order, right?" And I was like, "How does he remember this stuff? Like for real?" Oh, the classic GG, good game, right?
Thanks, Fergus. Appreciate it. You should have seen us before the stream started when I was just going ragged trying to get the audio to work, trying to get the share screen to work, and all this in StreamYards, and then turning voice meter back on to get that to work and resetting it. Oh, I'd want to kill myself.
It's games like this that make Todd drink. Okay.
Yeah.
It's games like this.
Yeah, it was rough. So, but you know what? In the end,
Ian said, if I knew ahead of time this wasn't meant to be a crash, I wouldn't have shown up. Hey, you know what? Yeah. We don't need you in our plane. Get out of here.
Yeah. As pilot, I would have kicked him off the plane anyway.
D. Harris says, excellent stream, gents. Look forward to the next one. Hopefully next week. It will be. I'm going to keep Todd honest on that one. I want him to stream every week. Something. Don't care what it is. Don't even. You need this in your life, Todd. You need this. You need this.
Okay.
Burgess says, us playing geeks remember all the fun stuff.
Yes, that's true.
I'm sure. There's just like a ton of crap to remember.
When I was doing this all the time, I was reading the flight ops manuals from cover to cover, the QRH, I had all that stuff because I had the cockpit and I was wanting to make sure it was accurate. I have the Bill Bulford books. I have the cockpit simulator. It's called Cockpit Companion, and it showed you what every button did and how all the systems worked and everything. On the iPad, it's not available anymore, but so that was fun.
Dave said, loved it. Well done, Todd.
Thank you, D. Thank you, Bergdus. Thank you, Ian.
You laugh now, Ian. You are now officially banned from all future Southwest Airlines flights. Just saying. And I don't know. Katrina's like iffy. She was complaining that there was no drinks or peanuts. We take complaints seriously. That's why we have like spare parachutes in the back. So we are caught up with chat.
All right. Well, that's good for me. If everybody doesn't have any questions, I'm gonna go to Best Buy and go buy some cables. And I will look into setting up the Thrustmaster, and I definitely have to set a toga button on this joystick setup here. Definitely
Ian
gonna need
says,
that.
Little secret, I am already banned from Southwest. That doesn't surprise me.
Not surprised whatsoever.
No.
Thank you, Dave.
Says,
Thanks everybody for coming.
Says, Katrina, I'm telling you, you're thin ice. You're not banned, but thin ice. Don't ever complain on our plane. Hey, and that rhymed. Yeah, it could become a rapper. First white rapper.
And thank you, Eric, for producing, because I had my mind full of other stuff.
Oh, piece of cake. Hopefully I didn't squawk on you and talk too much.
Nope. Well, that's it for me. I thank you all for coming, and till the next one.
Outro.
Yep. Have a good one, guys.
Later.